Then it goes a little something like.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of the Ballrooms and Bachelors Podcast, where we talk about our experience as ballroom dancing students, Dancing with the Stars, and all things Bachelor. I'm Camille.
And I'm Matthew.
So on today's episode, we're going to talk about, just some highlights from the group classes this past week. We had the Halloween party at our dance studio, competition prep for November. We've got about 3 or 4 weeks left. And then, of course, we're going to go over Michael Bublé Night on Dancing with the Stars, and then the 2 episodes of Bachelor in Paradise this week, where the split week has now ended and everybody's back on the beach.
Exactly.
So yes. So how about you, Matthew? Why don't you get us started with the highlights from the group classes this week?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Pretty much this is our last group class week of September, since obviously this is the last week of September or October, not even October. Oh my gosh. You see, that's the thing, is that the timing is going by so quickly and the years go by so quickly. I'm like, it's not September. Okay, this is the last week of October. And so obviously this is our last week of our October group classes, and we're going to be changing quite a few of the group classes going into November. So that's going to be pretty fun. Obviously we'll miss the October ones just because the October ones have been so fun. But this was our last contemporary class of the month, and it was really, really fun. It was cool because
we have one more next week.
Oh, we do. You're right.
We do have one more on Halloween.
We do have one more. Thank God. I'm like, I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about that. Actually, wait, I wrote down on my phone on Halloween, and I don't know if it's right, but I don't know, because I felt like Elena said, like, at the beginning of this month that we were going to have, like, on the Halloween, we were going to have both choreography group classes on that night. So I don't know if we're still doing that.
No, we're doing contemporary, and then we're doing the choreography.
That's what I thought.
Because then she didn't even have the choreo thing. She reminded everybody we do have class. She's like, unless you have to take your children trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating, yeah.
Then please come. So yeah.
Exactly.
So we have a normal Monday again.
Yes. So we have one more Monday, which is great. Thanks for reminding me. I was like, what's going on? The whole month has been crazy. So we'll have one more contemporary class. This was our second to last one, obviously. And it was cool because we just did a lot of different things. And this is cool that I've loved that Elena's been doing this with the contemporary class, where we've like done kind of like a warm up with our body and our muscles and stuff like that at the beginning of class, because obviously your muscles in contemporary and body and stuff like that is very fluid and very kind of just like, you can be very rigid with it if you want to, and that's what the choreography calls for, but usually it's very fluid and very kind of like free flowing in your arms and everything like that, and everything's just kind of like a cloud and air and everything. And so just to kind of stretch out our body, we kind of do that kind of the stretching things, which is really cool. And then it was really funny because I forgot specifically, not really forgot, but it's just we did so much in that one class. I'm trying to remember everything specifically. The one part of it, what were you gonna say?
No, we did a lot. We did a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot, exactly. But in the middle of the class, I remember she was we went through a routine, and then she had us improv some things, which was really cool. And that's the thing about contemporary, there's a lot of improv involved, like just based kind of how you feel, which I really like about contemporary. I think is a really good aspect and really fun aspect of contemporary. So we did that, and in like the last 10 minutes, and I was telling her yesterday, this was really funny, or on Tuesday, it was so hilarious that at the last 10 minutes of the class, she had us like improvise with our eyes closed, so we wouldn't like watching it, because the thing is, and I think it's just kind of our instinct as students, is whoever's teaching the class, we kind of watch them to see what they're doing, to kind of like follow their steps. Even if we're doing our own thing, we're like, oh, what are they kind of doing, and we can kind of follow that. And Elena's like, especially for contemporary, she wants us to do our own thing, especially at the end of the class when she's taught us a lot of the improv stuff, and kind of like how to improv. And so it was really funny because we had our eyes closed, and she's like, flail your body all around and stuff like that with your eyes closed. And it was really I have my eyes closed, and I was so cognizant of like running into people. I did not look at my box. I'm like, I really hope I'm not going to be hitting someone or something like that. So that was a lot of fun.
She basically was also like, because then you see other people watching you, and then she's like, typically you can be freer. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I am not that person, because I'm
exactly.
it's like I still get concerned because I'm like, this
Yeah.
is even worse for me because I'm like, now
Exactly.
I'm never going to smack into somebody where I'm gonna like lose my balance because
I know,
of
me too.
I
Especially
don't know.
we were still pretty close to each other, even though we were in our own
Yes.
little box. We weren't really that far from each other. So I was like, and she told me because I had my eyes closed, and then I felt her push me like this, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
crap.
that was the other thing. I was nervous. I was like, oh my goodness. gracious.
Exactly. And she
but
did
yeah.
that, and she was like, move more, and I was like, okay, but I don't want to run into anybody.
It's a good exercise. I think we were just doing it also at the end of class. So people were like arriving there, and I was standing the closest to like the area by the bathroom. So like if
Oh, yeah.
people are gonna walk past, they're going to walk past me. That's why I was like nervous. But yeah, I think we've done so many different exercises like throughout the whole month.
Yeah.
And the song that we did, it was more like a lyrical song. So
Yeah,
I
right.
liked that. It was because I did many years of ballet.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I want to do lyrical. Like that was always my thing. Because we
Yeah.
did I did like at my old dance studio when I was younger, we did was a performing company group. So I remember
yeah.
like, I want to learn a lyrical dance, and contemporary and like hip hop were not like popular back then for
Mhm.
kids. Like that wasn't a thing,
Yeah.
you know. So anyway, I just remembered I was like, oh, I did my lyrical dance.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was
Yeah.
fun. I like how she said that it kind of fit into the
Yeah.
contemporary kind of spectrum, because
Mhm.
contemporary, like she was saying, is kind of like a more modern style, like of ballet and contemporary kind
Yeah.
of combines in the two.
Mhm.
So that was cool that we did that. And yeah, I've really absolutely loved that class. I know we've said it
Yeah.
every week, but it's just been so much fun. I'm glad we're gonna have at least one more, because I was under the impression, and she said it too. She was like, oh, she said this was our second to last one. You're right. But
Yeah.
that this is gonna be our last, because she told me the group class schedule and we're not gonna have contemporary next month.
Mhm.
So but I actually just to tell you this right now, since they will be out probably the group class schedule.
By the time we
like
by the
we
time
post
the
this,
episode
yeah, by the
airs.
time we post this, or a lot of people watch it or whatever.
Checking my email now
So
while you're talking about it.
no, exactly. But we're switching contemporary to hip hop, which is cool, because I thought that would be really fun. And we have done hip hop, but we haven't done hip hop probably since like May, June. So it's been quite.
I don't even think. I think it was like
maybe even
April.
yeah,
March
probably
or April.
you're
Yeah.
right. I think we did it in January and then in April too. So it was like in the spring and then like late winter. But she was saying, because I said during a few of the weeks of the contemporary class, she had said, oh, we can do kind of like a hip hop style. Remember when she was talking about the class she went to, and it's like, oh, you can kind of do a hip hop style contemporary. And she was like, oh, we could I have an idea for the first few weeks of the hip hop class. We could do kind of like a contemporary hip hop. And so she said she wanted to incorporate that in there, because I was like, I really would still like to learn some contemporary stuff, and she said that she would want to do that. So I think that's gonna be really fun. But yeah,
she said it was with the class she did was with Doja Cat's choreographer.
Yeah.
And she's choreographed for other people, but Doja Cat was the main person that I remembered she mentioned. And it was like, it was a really cool class. She really liked it, because she goes, to do all these other classes too.
Exactly.
Us stuff. I can't really get into the city all the time to go do these classes, but
no, I'd love to one day. I was telling her.
She loves doing that.
Well, I know she loves doing that, and it's so awesome. I actually, seeing her post about it, it's inspired me, because she told me there's like 5 different levels. She said even the beginner level is still pretty difficult. So she said for somebody that does like a non-ballroom style there, they like, you should take the first kind of level class, because like that's kind of like the more beginner class. The actual beginner titled class is still pretty difficult. Because I think she takes like the level 4 or 5 classes, which are like insanely hard. Because I've seen videos of it, but I'd like to get into that studio one day, even if it's just once or twice every few months. I think that'd be really fun. But yeah, going back to the contemporary class, I've just really loved that class. I'm so glad we got to do it, because I remember back in, I think it was July or August, I remember telling Elena, like I had said in the previous episodes, that I really wanted to do that class, because obviously we had never done it before in a long time, even before Elena was there, I think, because you said that somebody at the studio
a few years ago.
Yeah, years ago, and that was her first time teaching it. And so I'm glad that she took my suggestion and we actually got to do that, because it was just so beneficial, I think, to all of us, and it was just such a fun time. So I totally love that class.
It will come back again.
Definitely.
I just gotta make sure. I think it's just like ebbing and flowing, and I know she wanted to make sure, because we've been like, so that actually onto the next thing. Then we have the choreo class, which we're definitely going to be having a lot more of over the next few weeks to finish like our formation dance, and it's coming along really well. We can't give too many other details, but I know this week we started talking about our costumes that we want to have, like our outfits, and
Yeah.
we're going to get all the links because we have to order everything. So we talked about that and a little more logistics of the actual day and just trying to, coordinate the spacing, like where people are standing. That's why they're making more of the rehearsals mandatory at this point to make sure that we all know where we're standing, who we're partnered with for different parts, like, because with the choreography, there's different layers. It's like, let's get the base choreography, let's get this, but we're getting to the point where we really want to like lock down on all the details. And they've made the dance very intricate. And it's,
There's so many different moving parts.
Yeah, it's 2 different songs, it's 2 general styles of dance. I feel like we can give that detail.
We can give that detail,
and we want to just like make sure that there's a good transition between the 2, and like there's a lot of intricacies with like the moving and the acting portion of the dancing. So we're trying to really hone in on that. So they're doing, they're all doing a great job with that.
So I'm excited to actually officially like dance that and perform it in the next month. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. This one, I've done 2 of the formation dances previously. One was back in like 2017, the first time. I don't think there's anybody in the group right now with us that was part of that with us, like with me. David is the only one.
Oh wow.
David and I are the only ones that are currently still in the studio that were in that. So I did that one, and then there were some other ones that people participated in. And then we did the one in 2019 in the in August that like I talked about on the podcast before, and we shared the link. So that was cool. That there were a lot more people that are in it now that did that.
Exactly.
Like Elena and I were like, we ended in the splits at the end. So
I saw that. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So this is a little different.
It'll be my first one, so it'll definitely be a cool milestone for me to kind of check off at the like I did my first formation dance at the series, so that'll be really cool.
It's exciting too, because I think it's really awesome because some of us were still with the studio. Oh wait, no, I just realized I think Jerry might have been in that one in 2017.
Oh really?
He was. Oh my gosh, I just remembered. Jerry, I don't know if you're watching this, but maybe find out. I know she was there. I don't remember if she was in the formation dance.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I just had to space that moment, and my headphones falling off. Anyway, so okay, but I think it's cool because we've just had so many new people join the studio over the pandemic and all like this whole time that it's cool to just like, okay, we have like a new group. Like this is Team Glen Rock now, and now we're coming out with our formation dance. So it's exciting.
Exactly.
Cool.
And there's been new people that have joined too, like in the last few months as well. So it's like really cool to just see that.
Yeah. And they're just like diving right in. So that's
really
right awesome.
Exactly.
Okay, so then I did attend the bachata class this week because it was right before the Halloween party. I did participate in the class with my frog onesie on, not my full costume, and you were in. Now I know what you meant when you said you had to have most of your costume on.
Yeah. It was really funny. I walked in the studio and our friend Cynthia, when I saw her, I walked in because she was doing her private lesson with Milos, and they both looked at me when I walked in and they're like, oh my God, it was so funny because I was Paul Stanley from Kiss. And so I had his makeup on and like the whole kind of like get up with like the shirt and the jeans, stuff like that, and the chain. I didn't wear the wig, and you'll see we're going to talk about our costumes in a minute, but I had his wig on, but the wig is so big, and I knew I was going to wear it for the party. And when I wore it for the party, it was so sweaty that I was like, this wig is too freaking big to wear during the class. I'm just not going to wear it during the class. But I wore it. But it was fun. We were the only 2 people that wore our costumes to the class, so that was really fun.
I had not tried on the onesie since I got it in the mail. I literally got that and the mushroom hat in the mail, and I was like, great, I got it. I just threw it in the bag, and I think I was partially concerned that it wasn't going to fit me. I mean, I had a feeling it would probably fit me, but I was just like, let me just figure this out now, because if everybody's going to go rush and change after the class, I was like, I can wear this for the class. I just obviously those shoes, and I had to go like the buttons. I had a staple part of the bottom of it because I'm like, I can't just have buttons closed at the bottom. It needs to be a little more closed than this. So I went and I borrowed the stapler. So I was like, I just wanted to get that all sorted before class.
So the bachata class was awesome as well.
It was. I mean, it's just I hadn't been there in a while. So And David's like, oh, go like to have me go dance with you right away, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know the steps.
You were like, just leave me, please. I'm like,
I'm
okay,
just
I'll
like-
do that.
I'm like, please just, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mess this up.
I mean, I messed it up too at the beginning because
Yeah.
he had a very intricate routine.
Yeah, it was
last week that we
very,
so.
it was like bouncing around all over the place, but it was cool. And we had a good turnout for the class too, because a lot of people were there for the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Halloween party
Mhm.
was really good.
It was fun.
It was fun. We, you know, it's last year I dressed as an alien, and
Oh yeah, I remember that.
but I forgot. I didn't, were you there? I don't
Yeah, I
remember. I
was.
didn't really know you.
No, we didn't really start like becoming
didn't know you.
closer until like I want to say like February of this year. So yeah, we didn't really talk much back then.
But I remember, yeah, I think
But
I'm
I remember
still-
seeing you, yeah. But I was this like vampire kind of
yes,
zombie thing or something like that.
Yeah.
I had like the hat and like the painted face again and the cape and
I
stuff.
do remember that. I honestly think that that costume probably would have been more appropriate for the prize you won this year.
Exactly.
But no, so yeah, so some of the students brought in, like, so the studio was planning to award like best costume, but some of the other students, there was a couple that is newer to the studio, they brought in some trophies and they wanted to give out 4 trophies.
That was so
So the studio awarded it, and then we also like had a group thing. So I won funniest costume award.
That's amazing. That's awesome. You
it's
know,
like
I
a
get mine too.
Karate, taekwondo. I should put it in front of my face. Yeah, taekwondo trophy or karate. I don't know. So yes,
cool. Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a thing that says funniest award. So I mean, when you see the picture, you're gonna be like, okay, that makes sense. You won. Go ahead.
Yes, hang on. Let me grab it 1 sec. I didn't really hang on.
I just happen to have it here because
I
my
know.
room is a mess at the current moment.
And I won scariest costume award, which was kind of funny because like I wasn't going for a scary costume, but I just think of all the costumes that were there, it was the scariest, so it makes sense. But it was really funny to me because the way that we did the costume contest was not like last year.
Yeah.
Because last year, like I said, I had only been at the studio for like a month and a half at that point, so I was still very new. But what happened with the costume contest last year is we all stood in a circle, and then I think Elena went around and we like whispered in her ear like what we wanted or who we wanted to vote for.
I thought we wrote it down. Either way.
I think they either wrote it down or we told them or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they announced the winner at that point. That's what I expected it to be again this year. But well, the funny thing was that the thing, and I think it makes sense that they didn't base it off of that, but like they did this like dance off thing for all of us, and she was like, oh, this is how we're going to base the costume thing. I was like, is this how they're going to do the costume contest? That's really funny. But then I think they kind of they did the thing with the boards, which was awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So it was a lot of fun, and it was so cool.
I mean, I know in the past that they're just like, well, you have to sell it, like you have to dance according to your costume. So
exactly. I know that we're going to probably insert the photo of our costume here somewhere.
Yeah. You were the only one that had like something even remotely scary looking, especially to the kids who have no idea who Kiss is at all. They were like, oh yeah, well, Matthew's scary, and I was like, would you have to give the scariest costume?
You can be the judge once you see the photo. Like I said, I'm gonna in the episode, like when we're talking about it, and you can be the judge of what you think. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really hot to dance in that costume. Let me tell you, it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I had 3 things on my head too, so that was also really hot, and the witch's hat kept falling off. Yeah, I don't know. The cool thing was the person that is the artist of that cartoon that I dressed up as, she reposted me.
That was so cool.
My costume. Awesome. She was like reposting everybody that's been tagging her, but like out of that 24 hours, I was the first one she reposted, and I was just like, oh my god. Yeah, it was so funny. Cool. So that was cool.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm really happy for you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I know it's like
I know, like, I saw it. That's so cool. Like exactly. Yeah.
It's because my coworker shared this meme and I just was laughing and I was like, that's my Halloween costume. So she's like, I take full credit for this. Actually, I should have brought the trophy to show her today and just been like, well, she knows I told her, but I should have just brought the trophy and been like, this should go to you because you just reposted this meme.
Oh, exactly. It was funny. We took a lot of cool pictures that night, and it was funny because we took one together of our costumes and character. And that's probably one of the funniest pictures I've ever taken with you. And it's like so funny. And so I absolutely love how that picture came out. And it was just an absolutely fun night. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. The Halloween party is there. It's always
They're
great.
always-
Honestly, I would really have no other reason to get a Halloween costume right
No,
now.
I know, exactly. I would have
Party.
been dressed up if it wasn't for the party. So
I have like a Halloween like themed birthday, but it's like a murder mystery thing that I'm going to this weekend. But that's like different. I'm getting dressed as
yeah.
a detective.
That was
Anyway, yes, on Wednesday we didn't have class. I did not go to arm styling today. So anything noteworthy?
Yeah, we did a lot of cool things, and David's daughter took part in the class just like last week, so that was really
Very
cool.
nice.
And so that was awesome. And yeah. And so we did rumba again, and we kind of did just because we have one new person in the class tonight, and so we kind of did the review of the elbow wrist finger thing, and just kind of like the basic rumba rate transfer with the elbow wrist finger going back and forth and everything like that. And then we got a little bit more technical, and we did the rumba walks like we did last week with the choreography. And then we switched over the cha-cha and did lock steps with a check back and forth, forward and backward. And then we did the arm styling same as rumba when we were doing the rumba walks, but just with the lock steps. And then we kind of did a cool like choreography thing at the beginning where we were like just kind of getting all into it, and we did some breaks and then the body roll and stuff like that. So that was really fun. And yeah, that class has been super helpful for me. I've already started to feel way more comfortable with my arm styling, which is definitely really a good thing, because it was something I really didn't have much experience in even like a few months ago. So it's awesome that I'm really happy with how it went, and that class has been so beneficial. But it was cool because I remember Elena telling me, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago in our private lesson, she was like, you don't have to worry about it too much, because usually in the Latin dances, the guys don't do much arm styling anyway.
Yeah.
You can kind of just learn the basic stuff and it's fine. So I'm like, okay, that's good. But it's cool to kind of come
up. Well, it's like at least you put more time and effort into like practicing the technique, so it's like a little more ingrained. Yeah, I wanted to go to the class tonight, but I was like, because I was texting you because I was like, I have to finish watching the shows, and I know like I was at work, and then I was just trying to finish a few things up before I left, and I was like, I just want to go home and eat dinner and relax.
Exactly. And then the smooth class tonight, and it was funny.
Right.
And it was funny because I said last week, or in last week's episode, we did all 4 smooth dances. That was a complete lie, or I just made a mistake. We didn't do foxtrot, so we did foxtrot tonight. I really forgot about foxtrot. I was like, I don't know how I forgot about that, but so we did foxtrot tonight, and it's funny because we did a lot of the foxtrot choreography that we're doing in our formation dance, in the foxtrot part of our formation dance, which is awesome. And it's cool because it was pretty similar, so I kind of already had that like somewhat down in terms of the technique. It's still new for me. And then David was talking about our frame and stuff like that, and I kind of showed him my frame, even though I haven't done frame much in my life. He said it was good overall, and he was giving me some kind of tips, and all of us tips on what our frame should look like and stuff like that. And there should be kind of like a line kind of from elbow to elbow through the middle of your body and stuff. So that was cool. And then we did some cool little combination things after that and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we got to do foxtrot and finish off that class. That class has been really fun, like I've talked about. It's especially with me getting in the standard in a few months. So it's definitely getting to do that class plus the what I'm trying to talk about, the seminar with Hazel. I was like, I'm getting names mixed up, but with Hazel and with Amanda, it was definitely doing those smooth classes and seminars and stuff like that. It's been so helpful for me, like I said, getting ready to start standard, and just even if I wasn't getting standard, it's just a good kind of building block thing that you can do to get a little bit more acquainted with those styles, especially since I hadn't done those styles much on my own, or like learning them like quite a bit. So it was really fun, and it was definitely beneficial to me, like I had said before, especially like I said, just doing it every week. It was definitely awesome.
Yeah, the real trick with standard is when you, like for the frame, is when you start learning about the xiphoid process.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just ask David and Sasha about that one.
I will.
Not that we've gotten to see Sasha in a while, but you know.
I know, exactly.
The xiphoid process.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And yep.
Oh no, you were gonna say something else.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like I've said every week, drives tomorrow, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And that's been a fun
Yeah.
class too. So I've gotten a lot out of it.
Okay, so I mean, I think that we talked a lot about the competition prep, like in that, at least like formation dance stuff.
Yeah.
So
There's not
um
much.
yeah, I have a
It's
lesson with
great.
David tomorrow to go over standard. I think that's really it. I haven't prepped much aside from just going to my lessons. I know I scheduled everything between now and the competition, so that
Yeah.
way I don't have to think about that, and it's like all good with my schedule.
Yeah.
I have like some reminders set up, like that I always kind of set up, like just the few days before, like making sure I get my heat sheets, making sure I pack my like I pack all the stuff for my outfits, like I start to like map out what I'm doing, like I'm making sure that I have all the tickets I need, like
Yeah.
my other friend might be coming with me to watch, like I'm staying overnight in the hotel, so like making a list of all the stuff, like I have all the reminders in my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm all good with that. But I think I've also been running a little bit more. I have been able to run a little more frequently to work out. So and I did skate this morning, so I'm trying to get my stamina up
Yeah.
to
That's
help
awesome.
with that. I figured just like all around exercising, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's all I've been doing. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Elena and I had our lesson. I had my lesson on Monday night, just like as usual. And we did our 2 rounds again. In the first round, we kind of like just to kind of get our like bearings underneath us and just to get kind of in the rhythm of the Latin dances again. And just to again kind of just get our muscles going and stuff like that. So we did that, and then we worked a little bit on stuff that I could like work on a little bit in terms of my technique. And then we worked like the last half hour on my showcase dance, and it's together really, really good. She showed me the rest of the choreography, and it's absolutely incredible. Like I had said last week, I knew it was going to be amazing, but I didn't know how amazing, just because like obviously I have a reference point based on like the choreography. I'd never seen it before. It's absolutely everything I wanted it to be, and she completely kind of captured the vision I wanted, which I knew she would, because she's so great at choreographing dancers and coming up with stories and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to perform it. It's definitely going to be a little nerve-wracking because we have the competitions in like 20-something days, and we still haven't practiced the dance completely in total. We've still only done it like piece by piece, but since I know the whole dance now, up until the competition, like every lesson, like I think the next 3 or 4 lessons up until the competition, and I think I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 weeks, maybe before the competition, of try to do 2 lessons during the week, so we can like focus on Latin one day and then showcase the other day just in completely in full in the lesson. So that's my hope. We'll see. But it's the showcase dance is going to be so much fun, like I had said before. I'm really excited for it. And then after that, we did another round just to kind of just finish off the night, and that felt really good. My technique, I feel like, is really, really good in terms of my comfortability with it. And I've just grown so much since I competed in Latin for the first time, and the last time I competed in it most recently, which was February. So it's been quite a while, and I've definitely grown a lot and improved a lot just based on the videos I've seen of myself. So I'm really excited to actually showcase that on the Sunday of the competition and be able to dance Latin a lot of times. I think it's going to be awesome. And like you had said, I'm going to have like 2 to 3 of my non-dance friends that are going to come to the competition, and they're already all excited. So they're going to go.
Except they need to buy their tickets because she didn't have anybody on the list.
Oh, exactly.
Reiterating that.
Yeah, exactly. I told her about it. So I'm really happy about that. And I told them all about the old Hollywood theme and everything like that. And they're all excited and said they're going to go completely crazy, because I said, by the way, it's not the most important thing, but if you are loud, we might win top studios. And they're like, you know what,
we're gonna have megaphones.
We're gonna have, exactly. My friend's gonna bring a megaphone, and then David is bringing it. So it's actually about two megaphones.
I keep telling David I'm going to remember to tell him again tomorrow.
Exactly.
Just like, and the megaphone.
And the megaphone, exactly. So that's gonna be fun. The competition is gonna be so great. And like you had said, I've started to do like 2 or 3 days worth of cardio a week just to kind of get my stamina up, and then and I've been doing running / walking. Like I had said a few episodes ago, I'm much of a runner, but I like to try to like walk maybe 5 minutes, then run a mile, or not run a mile, but like run half a mile and walk again, and then kind of just kind of like back and forth rather than just running the whole time, because I can't really, it's not easy for me to do that. So I've been doing that just to kind of keep my stamina up.
Yeah, I am at when I did the run, I ran yesterday. I was at the like run for 1.5 minutes is my max right now. I think it started to go up to 2 minutes in the next day of running. Exactly. So yes, I'm like, we're getting there. We got a few more weeks, but I know you know, if you're following us on Instagram, keep checking, because I know I am going to tell Matthew and make sure he posts it too. We want to post a little bit of like some behind the scenes practice stuff before the actual competition. So
Exactly.
we are planning to do that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting, especially like you said, with the fact that I've been doing the same thing with getting my tickets and the hotel nights and everything like that. Since like there's so many moving pieces of the competition,
Yeah.
make sure you have that all settled, like not last minute. So I'm glad that I've started to kind of plan for that already ahead of time.
Yeah.
So for sure.
And I also know now enough to just be like, just know that there's a lot of things that are still subject to change. So don't
Yes.
feel like when they tell you one time that it's like this time,
Yeah.
this day, this exact thing, just know that there's still sometimes some wiggle room on the exact time they're telling you.
Exactly.
So yeah, just know that if you
Exactly.
are,
If you ever compete or
if
attempt,
you're ever doing both.
exactly.
That's just like a general thing.
Exactly. Like you
I
had said
mean, just
last
in
week.
life too,
What were you
but
gonna say?
oh no. Well, I'm just saying, you know, because I know a lot of it's like just based on how many people ultimately end up showing up, how many
Oh,
heats
yeah.
they do, how many rounds they do, how many all that. So it's like it does fluctuate because of that, because it can
Yeah.
go from like if somebody backs out, it can significantly reduce. But what were
Exactly.
you saying?
No. I was just gonna say that, like you had said last week, and when you told me last week, it's really gonna be interesting because you had said, I have a feeling you're gonna do all of the stuff you're doing, like in terms of like performing and competing in less than 24 hours, and that kind of hit me when you told me that last week. And I was thinking about it this weekend. I'm like, I'm really interested to see what that ends up feeling like for me, because it's just gonna be such a crazy thing. So I think it's gonna be really fun, but it really
It's gonna probably be from like 5 p.m. till 1 p.m. the next day. It's gonna be less than 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
But
okay.
we'll have a lot to post about the competition in a few
Yes.
weeks.
Yeah, we'll once we have a better plan set up of what we're posting and doing on like social media and everything, we will make sure that we say it. So, okay, do you want to move on to Dancing with the Stars now?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so for Dancing with the Stars, it was episode 7, Michael Bublé Night. Why don't you start us off with your honorable mentions? I know we were back and forth on the number. I think at this rate, we're just gonna pick the number of top dances and number of honorable mentions we see fit.
We're not gonna have a set number anymore.
But we'll still go through this. I want to do the honorable mentions, and then we'll build up to the top dances. So,
Exactly, especially since like
yeah,
it'll
go
be
ahead.
when it moves down, like when it like as we get closer to the finale, even in the next few weeks, it's gonna be so much easier. Like we had talked about at the beginning of the season, it was so difficult to like say which ones did we like the best, because we ended up liking, but yeah, so that was exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so who did you have in your honorable mention?
So my first, let me go down here, and my first honorable mention was Heidi and Artem, and they did a samba, which I absolutely loved. It was so good. And the thing is that like it was actually one of the highest scored dances of the night. Some people might be like, oh, why wasn't in your top dances? But I had 4 other dances I liked, like maybe a little bit more. That's just the thing now, is that everybody's so good in the competition now that it's so difficult to kind of say which ones do, or like how do I balance out the 2 lists. But I agreed with Len that the samba content was great, and I thought it was awesome that Artem put in so much samba content, and like that makes it, I know Len really loves that, especially when there's like no fooling around or any like extra thing, like story thing or whatever, if it doesn't call for that in the dance. But I thought that was great. I thought her legs and arms were good as always. I thought her samba balance was good and everything like that. I did agree with Derek. This is another reason why I didn't put it in my top, was it kind of felt like what Carrie Ann was saying last week with her jazz routine. I felt like her kind of expressions were still a little bit like low for me, especially for the samba. And I love I think it was Bruno, no, Derek, it was Derek, where he was like do something and make a sound or whatever. It's like during the have a little bit more fire in you. She was like, yeah, or whatever, or something like that. So that was funny. But I like the dance overall, and it got 46. Obviously, the score's a little bit higher because Michael Bublé guest judged as well. She got 4 9s and a 10, so 46, and I think that's a pretty good score for her. I think she's improved every week, which I'm happy to see, and I just love I really enjoyed the dance. I think her technique is getting better, and she's just really fun to watch every week for sure.
So I didn't have her in my honorable mentions or top dances because I thought it was technically good. I thought it was like she did a good job with the samba, but I think, and she is improving every week. I think the thing for me is she's just not really having that like big
Yeah, I agree with
thing
you.
with like showing the emotion. And I think it's like, look, I can understand obviously like Charlie felt
Sure.
weird about the Roomba, or like even when Gabby felt a little weird about like the Roomba and stuff. And it's like, that's such a different level of depth. But
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I think for me, I typically don't have as much trouble like emoting
yeah,
in Saba,
exactly.
because it's like more, it's fun and like fast and whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like that's just been a consistent thing in all of her dances, is that they're trying to get her to like perform more.
Mhm.
And that's just, I think it's just hard for me, like every week. I'm just like, she's not,
Yeah.
I don't see a huge improvement in that area.
Yeah, me neither.
So it's hard for me, because I think it's like, I don't know, it's just as good as it was technically. Like I can honestly say it was good and it looked better, but it just doesn't, like, it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like, I thought like I had her last week in my honorable mentions for like when she did the jazz, just the girls just want to have fun, because I at least felt, even though it wasn't like totally more expressive
Mhm.
than that, I felt like it was one of the ones that she was a little more open with that. And I don't know. I think that I don't know. I'm just very picky about.
No, I agree with you, and that's why I
I
didn't
don't
put
know.
it in my top. But
Yeah.
the two people I didn't put in my top,
Yeah.
I liked her dance better than those two dances, so that's why
Yeah.
I mentioned
Yeah.
still. But
Yeah.
but I agree with you. I feel like, and again, me being in dance for a year, that performing aspect is still, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's like so like it is difficult. I'm not going to come up
Yeah.
here and say and say that it's not. It is. I have got more comfortable with it because I've been doing a little bit more performative dances like throughout the year I've been dancing. But it's, like most of the time, I'd say even like 98% of the time that I come up, I have to do a new performative dance or perform for something. It's still difficult for me to kind of emote those emotions. So I understand completely that it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But it is something I have not noticed any, like I said, much improvement from, like you said, from her. So I
Yeah.
really get it.
And it's hard. Like I don't want to sound like I'm being dismissive of it. I think it's just hard for me sometimes, like as an audience member, to be like more like drawn in to want to
Yeah.
watch. And I think that's just where it's like, sometimes it's harder for me to like want to put her in my honorable mentions. Like last week with the girls just want to have fun, like I enjoyed watching it. This one,
Exactly.
I mean, I was watching it technically. I thought she did a good job. Like when she did the Mary Poppins, I forgot if I think I had her.
I think she was in my top for that, I think.
Yeah, she was in my honorable mentions for that. Like there's some of the ones that I feel like I just feel like she's connecting more with it, that it's easier for me to like,
Yeah,
I don't know, to balance a technical performance.
exactly.
I'm being picky. I'm being like one. Anyway.
Like I said, it was interesting because that was the highest, not the highest, but it was one of the highest scores of the night. So the
That
judges
too.
didn't really enjoy it. So
That's what I'm like, and I don't even have her on any of my top ones. But anyway.
she did do good, exactly.
Yeah, she did well. I mean,
But I know
everybody's
what you
doing pretty well at this point.
mean.
But okay, so who else did you have an honorable mention?
So next for me was Trevor and Emma, and they did the foxtrot. And and again, was it like the best dance for me of the night? No, but I really enjoyed it. And like all the judges said, he really is a leading man, especially as of like recently. I feel like he has gained more confidence because I think he has been talking about like from the first dance, his first, I forgot even the first, oh no, it was the quick step they did in week one. And I felt like, because that was where he said, I'm completely scared of dancing. And everybody was saying, oh, I don't think he did that bad. He actually did pretty decent. I remember we were all talking about that. And then like he went up from the like at the rumba, and then it kind of like leveled out. Then it went down a little bit, and now it's like I feel like that kind of like was up more. This dance kind of put him back on the last week's dance as well as the jive. I feel like both those dances have kind of put him on a, like kind of slowly. It started to slowly go up again for him. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy to see that. I felt like he's more confident, which is awesome. Like I had said before, I thought his frame was decent. I did see some times where it kind of like went down a little bit. But again, if you're not used to frame it, I think that's pretty easy to do, because when you're in frame the whole time like that, like it's really difficult and it's tiring. So I definitely can see why like it can be a little difficult, but I thought it was decent. I thought he was very smooth and elegant on his feet. The movements were very smooth and elegant, and you can definitely see the progress he's making. I feel like Emma has really like taught him very well, and I feel like she's an amazing partner for him. So I'm very happy to see his progress. I think he's been doing a great job, and I did enjoy the dance.
I had him in my honorable mentions until I swapped him out with Danielle and Britt.
Okay.
I thought that it was, but I mean, I agree. I think it was definitely his best dance to date.
Mhm.
And it was great to watch. And Foxtrot is really difficult because especially
Yes.
with like the footwork, because
Yeah.
I forgot if I mentioned this in the previous episode, but um the proper footwork is hard to get
It
because you have to
is.
roll through the feet a certain way. And like there were so many weeks that I would like I'm in the studio be practicing. I'm like, I want to cry.
It's so difficult.
It's so difficult. But thanks to David and Sasha, I did
Yes.
get it a little bit. I mean, of course, there's always work to be done, but
Mhm.
I get how to do it. And I think that takes time, but I think it was his best dance to date. I thought his frame was good. Like I think compared to Shangela, since Shangela was right before Trevor, they were doing the dance in hold. I felt like comparatively, Shangela's was stronger than
Yes, I agree.
Trevor. So that's why I think I was kind of looking at that. And I think, when I compared it to Danielle and Britt, I was like, I think I like Danielle and Britt's a little bit better, but
Yeah.
for other reasons. But we can get into that when we get to them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I do agree. Trevor and Emma, they're getting to the point where they're like going up again. He's back.
I'm happy about that.
So I'm happy about that too.
The Foxtrot is so difficult, like you
Yeah.
said. Like that was the dance we did in group class tonight, and it was
Yeah.
just so difficult that
Yeah.
we were doing like the pivots, and man, those are so difficult because you literally got to like step into your partner and then like put your foot
Yeah.
backwards when you're leading, and it's just so hard. So I definitely get it, but it's good to see him improving and
Mhm.
not 3 9s and or two 9s and 3 8s. So I think that was a pretty fair score because it's
Yeah.
not like over scoring him, but they're still they kind of are scoring him based on his improvement. So I
Mhm.
definitely do agree with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay, who else did you have as honorable mention?
So this is actually that person you actually just mentioned was Daniel and Britt. So it's a good segue.
We're overlapping now.
No, exactly. So they did another foxtrot, and
Mhm.
and I love in the package that Britt was like breaking down the song for him. I thought that was
Mhm.
really cool because I think that's somewhere like obviously it's probably very difficult for him, like not knowing how
Yeah.
to interpret the music or interpret the lyrics of like, oh, this is what I need to do, and kind of like
Yeah.
have this feeling because he obviously can't hear that. And
Yeah.
so I think that was awesome to where she was like, this is the line and this is what we should feel like during this line of the music. So I think that was really, really helpful. And you could see that really paid dividends for him. I think it was so beneficial to what I saw in the dance. I thought his arms were great, which they've always have been, in my opinion. His frame is hands down way better. And I think it was too. The judges have said that. I think he has the dance had great passion and dedication, and just his overall personality, it's the same thing. I think the choreo was so great. Brid's choreo for him has been so fantastic and just really detailed, which I love. And I love how she really put that emphasis on being a little bit more fuller in the movements. So I'm really happy she did that. I'm very happy for him just to see how much he's growing and improving. And like Carrie Ann had said, even though he can't hear, it's so inspiring to see how good and how amazingly he interprets the music in such a great way.
Yeah.
Because that's really impressive. Because I always think about that when I'm watching them dance every week. I'm like, this must be so difficult for him because obviously Britt can hear the music and like most people can hear the music that is watching. So it's probably like, I'm wondering, oh, how is he going through this? And a lot of the time you can't even really tell he has a problem with it or that he might have a problem with it. It's difficult for him. It seems so like easy, not easy, but it just seems like he has no problem with it. And it's just awesome to see. And I did agree about Derek. He was saying that his shoulder could kind of come down a little bit. So I did agree about that. But that's like you can really, with more practice, that could become a little bit better. And I said he's just so determined and has been from the first week, which is so awesome. And they got 3 9s and 2 8s, which I think is a fair score. And I definitely think, especially with the cha-cha last week, and I forgot what dance he did on Most Memorable Year, or was the contemporary. Yeah, it was a contemporary because then he did the cha-cha prom night. I thought those 3 dances, the last 3 dances he's done, like kind of, it was a really good stepping stone from the quick step because like I said last week, he was really hard on himself with the quick step, and I think he's really kind of redeemed himself, even though he really didn't have to redeem himself. Like obviously, like everybody has bad weeks and stuff. Like that. But I feel like these 3 dances have been like huge improvements for him, and I'm just so happy to see it.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that with the dance marathon, because I guess what happened was as they got like tapped out, they only got like a point added, and since he was the first one out, maybe he didn't or Healing at one point added.
Yeah, like,
So
yeah.
I didn't
There's 1
realize
to
they
11.
dropped. I guess I think especially when I'm like in this mode of like I need to finish watching the episode, when they do the whole recap of like all the dances and the people, and then I like skip through and then the leaderboard, because I'm like, just get to the point where like who are the bottom 2 and then whatever, because it's like they
Yeah.
just that some of that stuff's like, obviously if I'm watching it live I'll watch it, but if I'm watching it like back, I'm like, this is just like 3 minutes of my time I can get back. So I didn't realize that his placement had dropped down so low
I know, I didn't either, because
of that.
I know, I didn't realize that.
I think, like, yeah, I think the dance marathon, it was hard because it's like he can't hear the music, so it's not like it is a rehearsed dance that he can go through and he understands it, and that was like a new type of experience for him.
Yeah.
But I think, I did have him in the honorable mentions. I felt like his performance definitely improved. I think just because he had more, like even more confidence with like specifically relating to the way the music was, and that song is like such a
powerful song towards the end,
so many
especially.
people skate to that song. It's insane.
I can see it, yeah.
Like, people get sick of that song at the skating rink. Like every version of it under the sun,
Yeah.
But and I do love the song, but I think I love it more now because I haven't heard it constantly from being in the skating rink all the time. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was technically his best. I feel like he's
yeah.
done better technically, but I think there was a lot of emphasis on the performance this time because of that. So I think that's why I just wanted to keep him in the honorable mentions, and I bumped him a little bit above Trevor, just because I felt like there was really more that he took on this week that he had to apply to his dancing, and I think I just wanted to make sure I'm commending that.
Exactly, agree, and I completely agree with you. I think with the emphasis on the performance, it definitely showed for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so who else did you have for honorable mentions?
So I have one more, and this is going to be actually really interesting because I wasn't actually expecting to have like them in the honorable mentions. It's going to probably be the same as yours. And the reason, and again, and we'll get into the details, but I'm assuming everybody knows it's Wayne and Whitney. And they did, especially since they've been at the top of the leaderboard and at their top dances since week 1, and this is week 7. So this was, I was not expecting. I actually, when I usually, like when I'm making my notes, I have like I write down top dances and then honorable mentions. And I always kind of automatically usually write Charlie, Gabby, Wayne in the top already.
Jinxed it.
I jinxed it, exactly. But I always, exactly.
No.
But but so when I saw the dance, like I wasn't expecting them to, but there was a dance, like I said, I have 4 top dances, and one of the 4th top dance I have in my top dance, technically I thought it was better than Wayne's, but as we know and found out in the show during his package, because of how much they've been working and like just like how much energy he's been using and stuff like that, he was home not feeling good until Friday, and he didn't even see 1 ounce of the choreography and the routine until Friday, which is crazy. They're working on a Tuesday morning, usually for the next week. So that's like 3 days where they have not done the routine, or he's even not even done it, let alone seen it, which is like crazy. And then that's probably difficult for Whitney too, because she's like, that's rushing her to have her teach it to him. So I was like, that's probably insane. So it's not like this is any fault of his own that like maybe it wasn't the best technically. It makes sense. They usually have a week or like 6 days to prepare for it. He had like 3.5. So it makes sense. I totally understand. Like I know when I have less time, and I'm sure both of us, if we have less time to rehearse something, it definitely feels a little more stressful. It definitely, exactly. Especially we don't have to perform on live TV, so it's I can't even imagine. But and I wrote down, that's crazy that like the whole rehearsal thing, they only had 3 days to, and they block on they do the camera blocking Sunday. So
who knows how much even rehearsal time they have on Sunday?
No, I know, because they do the blocking for the camera blocking on Sunday morning. So they probably don't have much time to really do like the actual like, oh, here's the steps and here's the choreography, here's like what you should do for this specific step. And they were saying the rehearsal started Friday night late. So if that's the case, he probably only had 1.5 days or a day and a half to do the regular kind of usual typical rehearsals, which is crazy. So I definitely understand. I love their outfits. I thought it looked really cool and fit the vibe again.
Mhm.
And like performance wise, which again is not really surprising, you couldn't tell he didn't have much rehearsal in terms of the performance side, because
Yeah.
he was still going full out and everything like that, and he didn't seem uncomfortable and was like, oh my gosh, I'm panicking, what's going. You could see he was still like, I'm going for it, and he seemed really comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. I
Yeah.
did agree with the judges that they were saying that the frame was a little bit like, and the posture was a little bit like, it was not his best, but
Mhm.
a day and a half learning that is probably very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially it's a quick step. Quick step is very fast and very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not anything that's like his fault or anything like that. It's just it's a very difficult dance, and he didn't have much time to prepare for it. And I wrote down, I thought the performance, like I said, and the energy was great, and it made me love the dance. And that's why I still put it in honorable mentions, because I was like, I don't want to completely just drop him out completely, because I really enjoyed it. And he's been at the top every week for me until this week. I was like, I really still enjoyed the dance, so I want to keep him in my honorable mention. And I said his determination was awesome. Like he could have easily been like, I'm giving up, or like I'm not going to go full out with this. But you could tell he was giving. You could tell he was still giving 110%, and that's so awesome. And we've talked about this before. He's just so humble, and he's just such an amazing guy. Makes, I think, the audience love him even more, and it's just awesome to see. Whitney's choreo was awesome. I've seen a lot of her quick steps before, and her quick step choreography is always great. And like I had said before, his performance is like definitely one of the best on the show. So I definitely agree with that, and what all the judges said. And I thought the dance was good. It was cool, even though like obviously with Michael not being, he even said he wasn't the technical judge and just kind of was basing it on performance. It was cool to see him give him a 10, even though to make him probably feel a little bit better, because I feel like Wayne could be hard on himself. So I'm glad that he did get it, at least 110 from Michael. So it was a 2 8s, 2 9s, and a 10. So his scores didn't go down completely, but he did end up in 5th place instead of second, first. So I would not doubt he's going to come back next week and probably be in the top again. So I would not doubt that. I think he's going to have that determination and drive to do that. But overall, even though it wasn't the best technically for him, I really did enjoy the dance, and I think it was really good.
Yeah. So I know that he said that he was like, it's not the big C word, but no, I mean, not for nothing. The previous week, remember, they learned 4 dances because they had to do the 2 nights, and they had to learn Lindy Hop and Hustle for the dance marathon.
Marathon.
So not only did they just have one night of a live show, they also had the second night of a live show. So they also had to go for Tuesday. So I think that's why it's like probably like Wednesday, Thursday, he was probably just like totally wiped out. I don't know if they did at all Wednesday, and like, I mean, because I'm assuming, I don't know, they probably didn't.
She said the first time they saw it was Friday.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, in the scope of all things, I think it's like, if he felt like that, he was better off resting, because then he felt fine. He felt good when he was back with her. And if anybody is going to be able to do that and be like, look, I got to rest, and then I've got to just like
just go for it
and go, like, it's him. So I think, he owned that. He knew it wasn't his best dance. It wasn't his best dance. I had him in the honorable mention at the top. It's fine. I think it was just very clear, like, he didn't have that, but like, he has that ability to be a performer and to know to push himself, and when to push himself, when not to push himself, and just like focus on the technique. And it still looked really good.
I thought
that amount of rehearsal. So it's not for lack of
effort.
Trying. I think it's just like he had to cut himself some slack, because it's like it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. If he wants to survive till the end of this, like,
you can't push yourself.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, Selma's situation, like, she obviously has other health considerations, that it's just like she had to put her long-term health before it, because it's like she could have probably tried to keep pushing herself at the competition, and is what it is. I mean, Wayne's not obviously in the same exact situation as Selma, but it's like, you still have to think about that, because you want to survive through the rest of the competition.
I completely agree.
No, I think he made the right decision. I totally respect his decision. And like 1 week of not being in the top is,
exactly, because I like I said, I highly doubt he's not gonna. I highly doubt he's gonna stay in that middle for long. I would not doubt he's gonna be in the top again next week, or one of the top dancers next week. And I'm, like you had said, I'm really glad that he put kind of his own health and mental and everything, well-being, like, before anything else. Because let's say that he kind of pushed himself when he really felt like that wasn't the best decision. And then maybe by like on Saturday, Sunday, when they're doing the blocking and everything like that, and rehearsals and dress rehearsals, he says, oh, I can't do this. And then he couldn't perform on Monday.
Yeah.
So it just was the best decision.
That would have been worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all of your honorable mentions.
It's all mine. So you have one more?
I have two more. So I had Jordan and Brandon.
Okay.
They did the Foxtrot.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good technically, and the performance-wise also. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just like a great performance from her. That was pretty much all I had about like the actual dance. I just also had the extra comment. Why does Bruno need to keep going over to Derek?
I know.
Every single description of anything. He like grabs his hand. This has been on for weeks now, and then Derek.
He's been doing that since like the week one.
Like,
and I remember I heard Derek and he was like, "What's happening?"
What's happening? Yeah. Yeah. So that was so Jordan and Brandon, definitely. I thought it was really cool.
No, I thought so too. And since like they're one of my top dancers. So.
Yeah, I was like, do I move her?
That's
I almost moved her up. I was just like, nah.
Exactly.
Honorable mentions because I thought that the top three that I had were like top.
Exactly. And like I said, I switched Jordan and Wayne. Like that was the thing I was contemplating because I was like, I don't want it to seem like, oh my gosh, I'm like being negative on Wayne because I took him out of the top. I was like, again, but I like technically I thought the dance was better than Wayne's, obviously. Like I said, Wayne had even talked about that. And so I agree with that. And it was so cute and sweet to see that she was saying that her grandpa and her and her grandpa used to dance to this song, which was so awesome, and that she could like already like still hear him sing it and dance to it and stuff like that. So like that's awesome, and I thought that was really sweet. And again, like you had talked about, the performance quality as always is great. Her facial expressions, everything like that is so good. And it's not really a shock to anybody because she had said that the performative aspect she has down pretty good, which is awesome to see. I thought the choreo by Brandon was really cute. It kind of had that like lightness, but then it also had like kind of some like upbeat moments with the song. It's like that really kind of a cutesy song. It had that kind of feel to it. So I like that. I thought her frame was great. I thought it was the best I've seen from her the entire competition. So I thought her frame was great. She's so light on her feet and her movements are so graceful, which I really thought was really impressive. And Carrie Ann had said something along the lines that she interprets the music and the story so well, and her arm like placement and stuff like that is just so good. So I definitely agreed with that. I think that's been kind of apparent the whole competition. So that was great. And I said I'm so impressed of how much she's grown. And it's so awesome to see, because like I remember her cha-cha week 1 I really liked, and then her quick step week 2 we were like, oh, it was good, but not as good. And then she did Rumba week 3, and that was like more of an improvement. And it's only gone again, just like Daniel. It's like she had kind of like a good week 1 dance, okay week 2, and then like it's just only gone up from there. And I just think like that's awesome to see. Same thing with Trevor. Like I just think it's awesome to see that like upward trajectory for her. And she got 3 9s and 2 8s, so I think that was a fair score for her. And I'm just happy to see her improving, because you can tell that she's really the technique and everything that Brandon's teaching her, you can definitely tell she's listening to it and applying it to the dances every week, because you can definitely see the improvement. So I loved it, like for sure as well.
Yeah, the other honorable mention I had was Jesse and Alan. They did the salsa. So it was the best dance she's done,
hands down.
And then she gets eliminated. And she won the dance marathon last week. I mean, I feel bad that she went home on this week, but in some ways I think it's better for her to go out on a high note. And like she said, she's like, on the bright side, I can take my kids trick-or-treating next week. So I think, I think that was, it's sad to see her go, especially because like I felt like she was just starting to like really make some more progress. But I think it was like the salsa was really good. It was fun. It was
everything like
that. It was great. Alan did a great job with the choreography. I loved it. And now I think that she's going to incorporate some of the dancing. So I'm like, I feel like I need to go watch her Instagram now to see if she's going to cook and do her salsa.
Exactly. And she maybe in concert she'll like start doing some like salsa stuff. But she definitely did. I actually might as well just like say it now, because like obviously she went home. And like you had said, we usually save the elimination till the end of the discussion, but we're already talking about her, might as well. And I loved how much she improved in how determined she was every week. That was something I really noticed. Like there were times she got like obviously really emotional and kind of like hard on herself. And I just thought it was so awesome to see her be like, you know what, this is hard for me, and it's not like it's completely foreign, and I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm still going to go out there and give it my best. And you could see that she was giving her all every week. So I'm definitely happy about that. But I think in terms of like the couples that are left and stuff like that, and the circumstances and everything, it probably is for the best. But I am very happy to see her progress. It was awesome to see.
Okay, so let's go to the top dances.
Let's do it. So so obviously which one we're going to start with, because I already mentioned Jordan and Brandon, so we will have the same three again.
We're gonna have the same three now.
We're gonna have the same three again, so we'll just start with my first one and we'll just go from the top. All right, so Sangela and Gleb, and it was so good. It was so awesome. They danced the tango, and I said again, their package was great. It's so like, it's just gold every single week. See her go full out, and just the commentary she gives, like you said, she knows, like you said last week, she says the exact right thing at the exact right time, and it's like so fun. And I just love it. And actually it's really funny because of that, like my mom and I, because we've been watching it, we just say like hallelujah around the house now all the time. Really funny. And so it's like, thanks Santa for bringing that into my household. So I thought that was really good. Like I had said, her frame was much better, and I definitely think it was one of her best frames the entire competition. So it was good to see that. Her arms were great, very graceful, very elegant. And I thought her, even though it had like like it was very fluid, her movements were very fluid, it still had a really, really good energy and power in the steps, which obviously the tango is like known for. And I thought, like Len had said, her being sunk in the knees, she kind of kept that the whole dance. So it was so good to see that, and knowing how that is tango, it's very difficult. And like Glenn had said, the choreo was great. The great performance quality is always good, and I absolutely loved it. I agree with Len, hands down her best dance by far. I don't think there's any competition. And like Derek said, her head placement was really good. So yeah, I thought it was a great dance overall, and it's so awesome to see her continue to grow.
I also, it was great frame, the best technicality I've seen from her.
Yes.
It's amazing. I think as good as Shangela is with the performance of all of the dances, she is the best technically with the closed dances, like the standard and the smooth. Exactly. I think it's she's better at that technical style than Latin. I mean, she's got the performance for everything.
Exactly, everything. Of course.
Even for just the conversation with the judges, because we cannot not mention.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
About how she pulled out the crispy chicken for Len. She had them all in the bags, and she had them in her bra.
I know, that was so funny, and I thought it was really funny where like I don't even think Len knew what it was at first. I think he had already forgotten what like he had said he wanted the crispy legs from her, and because she said, "Oh, I have something for you, Len, because you wanted crispy," and he seemed like so confused at first, and like he's like, "What's this?" And then she went up to the skybox and mentioned it. He was like, "Oh, okay," but that was really funny. And then like then she gave the chicken the Tyra too. It's just like so hilarious.
I'm just like laughing because we ended up getting Popeyes on Wednesday night for dinner, and I was like, I think this was like, because my mom and I were watching, we watched at least like Shangela, Trevor, and Gabby on Monday night. We watched the three of them, and I was like, this is like in our mind, and we didn't get KFC, but we got Popeyes because my mom was like, oh, we haven't had Popeyes in a while, and I'm like, it's because of the crispy chicken.
You know what? It's still crispy chicken. Exactly.
Yeah. The only other things I had was that I thought Len was gonna give her a 9. But and I don't remember if it's top 4 that do a freestyle, but I want to see her do a freestyle. Like she needs to be at least in the top group, just so we can see her freestyle.
Exactly.
It will be so epic.
It'll be so iconic and great.
I'm just like, I'm pulling for that. So yeah.
And then they got all 9s, which was nice. So that was good.
Wait, did they get all 9s? I thought
that's what it says in the description of the thing. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it says.
I thought
I don't know.
I thought Len didn't. I think Len gave her an 8. I could be wrong.
I think
Maybe.
I remember she was like, "Oh, I wanted all nines, and now I got all nine." So I think
Oh, maybe I said I thought Lynn would have given her a 10. Maybe that's what I meant to type.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
typed a 9. Anyway,
So that
okay.
was good. It was great.
So who else?
So next up, yeah, who's next? So next up, I'll do Charlie and Mark, and they did a
Yeah.
foxtrot. It was probably one of the best dances I've ever seen on the show. Like that always seems like she ends
Mhm.
up kind of raising that bar every week and breaking it every week.
Yeah.
Performance quality was so good. As always, that's never been an issue for her. Her arms are really great and powerful. The frame, it's improved hands down. I remember she said that was exactly what she wanted to improve on, based on like what Len had said in her week 2 with her neck getting a little bit like kind of sideways. It was nice to see that. That her, like I said, her frame was hands down improved. She's very light on her feet and elegant, which I thought, like, again, just like we said with the performance, she got in that character so well with that dance, and it really, the song required it, so it was awesome to see her get into that like performance and the character. It was so awesome. The choreography by Mark, as always, great. It was so creative. It had some fire to it, which was awesome to see. For a foxtrot, it still had that some like that feistiness, which was great to see. And I was like, can we talk about that like backwards kick for a second? I was like, that was so awesome. It was so good. And I agreed with Michael that it was effortless and mesmerizing, and that her rise and fall, like Derek said, was great. It was so good. And they got the first perfect score for, it was her first perfect score. So definitely well deserved. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I think I 100% I agree. I mean, we were talking before about the foxtrot. It's like the rise and fall is like also like the action you need when you're going through the steps. And I thought it was great. I mean, that was like, I think, like we said, I think that the contemporary that she did and the Simpsons one that she did were also deserving of perfect score, but this was like, I mean, they were like 10, 11, 12.
12. Yeah.
And they had the whole thing about like, they were saying, oh, Len's your favorite judge. She's like, I didn't say that.
I know.
She loves Len. She didn't say he was her favorite judge.
She just said she likes what he did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't know, Michael Bublé is just like so starstruck by these people. And I just, at that point in the episode, I was like, I just think he really just wants to be a regular judge on the show. But,
I think that's right. I'd be down.
He just wants to be like involved. Like he just wants to be involved. I feel like he's like, make me a dancer, make me a like a good judge, just involve me in the show. I don't know.
He was really happy.
The vibe. He was so happy to be there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So our other top dance, again, our girl Gabby. And she did a rumba, and it was, I was really looking forward to it when she said that she was doing rumba like last week on her story. She was like, we're doing a rumba this week. I was so excited to see it. And then Jenna came in during the rehearsal to help them. I thought that was so awesome to see, because we haven't seen Jenna. So that was awesome. And it was really funny how she was like making all those jokes about like, you got to get up to him and like smell his sweaty beard and stuff like that. And like that, because like you got to touch noses when you get close to each other and stuff like that. So that was awesome to see, and I think that really helps, because you could see during the rehearsal it got getting better and better. So it was awesome. I think that was very beneficial that Jenna came in for that. So that was awesome. Her arms and hip action was fantastic. I thought it was so good. And just like last week, she gave it her all with the performance. I agreed with. Her choreo, the choreo from Val, again, great. She has such an elegance to it, but it's also like very passionate. So it wasn't like, it was very like sweet, but then it was like really like that like intense passion like the rumba has, and it was so awesome to see that. And she really told a story, and I just thought it was so great. It was one of her best dances, hands down, in my opinion. And I felt like Derek has said, her fan was awesome. It was really cool. She got the fan down great, which was great to see. I was like, her and Alfonso with the mustache. That was really funny. And then Val did the same thing, and she's like, I got good at it. It was really and she got the 4 9s and a 10, and that was awesome to see. So I just thought it was really funny with that. But it was great. I had a lot of the same notes. I loved having like seeing Jenna come in to help her. She had Gabby had amazing technique. There were a few spots I could tell she wasn't as comfortable with, but it is what it is. I mean, she's doing choreography that I do in my like closed gold Latin routine, and she performed them really well. And then that was the whole thing, the dialogue at the end of the like, I'm really good at sniffing mustaches. And then Val put Alfonso's ear on his sweaty chest.
Yeah.
He was just like, makeup. Yeah, I think, I mean, I know it's like, I mean, Gabby just got engaged to
Yes.
Eric. So it's like, and then Val and Jenna are married and they're having
Yeah.
babies. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
awkward sometimes to like have to be like dancing that intimate with somebody. And you're,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only just like that Val's in a relationship, but Gabby's also in a relationship. And that was just like literally what she just went through. So it's a lot. Like, I know
Yeah.
it can be uncomfortable. So I think that's where like Jenna was like, I think that's where Gabby was like, it's nice to have Jenna like come and give me her blessing. I mean, sometimes just her saying that,
Exactly.
I know from experience, just sometimes people saying that. Yeah, I mean, I know Gabby was really happy because Jenna came there and it's like, obviously, so like Jenna and Val are married and then Gabby just got engaged to Eric. So it's like, it's not just that like Val's in a relationship, but Gabby's also in a relationship. That's
Yeah.
literally like what the past year of her life has been about. So it's just,
Exactly.
I know that it's helpful just to have Jenna there to tell her like, it's okay for you to flirt with my husband. But I know like from experience that it's easier said than done because sometimes just somebody saying that it's not enough. It's still can be awkward. Like that's the thing that I deal with because it's just very weird to me. And my daughter just like freaks out.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the thing. But I think it was just also funny about that whole thing at the end with Alfonso. So last week, if you followed us on Instagram, and if you follow Joseph Diana or Sasha Farber on Instagram, you might have noticed they reposted our story, and they because they had this thing where I just like was rewatching the episode and I saw how like Joseph was carrying Sasha behind Alfonso. So I think they because like Sasha said we tried to get him to laugh, but like no, he didn't crack like Alfonso. So I think they have a running joke of like trying to get Alfonso to like crack up because I think that's I think that was also just like what we were trying to like, or I think that's what they have going on. I think they have a running joke.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they were trying so hard to do this with Val, to try to get Alfonso to crack. Yeah, so I don't know. So that's it. Yeah, so those were all the top dances. The only person we didn't talk about was Vinny and Coco. They did the cha-cha, and it's like I feel so bad because he worked so hard.
He did.
And I know it, like obviously it really technically wasn't strong, but that is a hard dance to do.
It is.
And B, like he's really trying, and I don't know, Len was just like too critical. Like my mom and I were watching that part tonight and she's even like, did you really have to tell him it looked like a mess?
No, I know.
It's just, it was too much. And Vinny, like I could tell he was so sad and he was so like upset. And, I think that's where like what I had talked about with my other system that they did with the voting of like the lowest scores be in the bottom two and then the voting saves them or not. Like I just, in some ways I was thinking, I'm like, because I had a feeling it was probably going to be like Jesse or Vinny going home this episode. And it's just like, I'm glad that I think that was just the one good thing about like at least Jesse went home on a positive note. Like if Vinny went home this week, I would have felt bad.
Me too.
Because like to feel like you went out like with this thing, like I really hope he at least has another, because he was doing really well for those few weeks and it was like positive feedback. And I think like the performance was great and like obviously technically it's hard to do, and it's just like I think that's the point is like they're expecting him to be like at a certain level now. And so like when you're not delivering on that, they are going to be critical. So I just hope he has a few more good ones.
Me too.
At least one or two more good dances that are like help him bring things full circle for himself before he ultimately goes, because I think he's gonna be on the chopping block.
I think it's probably the next few weeks, But it's
like
so sad though.
Yeah, I just felt bad that it was like so negative.
No, I know.
Yes.
I agree. And the thing that I saw, I've been seeing so much like kind of like it's not even controversy, but just kind of back and forth on social media about it, where like people are like going after him. It's like, why the heck is he still here? But then it's also like, and it's so weird to me because it's like, yes, is like, I understand. Is he the best technically? No. And I know he knows that. But like, I know everybody's working hard, but I think like, I don't think he's one of the top people I know that is pushing himself every single week, giving it 110% giving it 110%, 110% during the live show. And that's really apparent. It's not like he's just standing there. It's like, you know, I could just care less at this point. You can obviously see him trying. And so that's why I felt like, again, with Len's comments and some of the people on like social media, I feel like that's really like pretty too harsh for me, in my opinion. And I've been seeing some people going after Coco and saying, oh, well, she's not teaching him well enough. And that's the reason why he's not good, is because she's not a good enough teacher. And she's like, and like saying all this crap and everything. It's like, it's obviously not true, but it's just
people
like,
need to zip it.
like, I know they all need to zip it. I know. It's just, I feel so bad because like we were talking about on the first episode or the first week, with the salsa and how like those comments really affected him. I think I think all of us feel this way, but especially him, when dancing is not like a thing that's so like he's not comfortable with, to be kind of torn down by so many people. And I feel, and again, there were people coming after Coco then too, and it's just like, it's her first season as a pro. She's doing really, really well. I think her choreography has been great. I think she's teaching him really well. She's so like, she's always there for him, and she's always like affirming him and saying you're doing great and everything like that, and so supportive. I think that's all you could ask for from a pro.
She's not in his body.
She's not. I know, exactly. So what are you supposed to like ask? It's like, it's so weird. But it's just, I just feel like together, like Vinny and then them as like a couple, I think they're just, from what I've been seeing from some of the fan base and from some of the judges' comments, so it's mostly been Len, I feel like it's been very like too harsh in my opinion. And I just feel so bad just because, like we had talked about, you can tell he really takes it to heart. And I just felt so bad seeing them stand there, because when he was saying that it was a mess, you could just see their face and they just had to like kind of like silently nod. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so like, I feel so bad. So it's just, I hope he gets 1 or 2 good dances.
Yeah, I would have felt better if he had gone home like last week, honestly, because I think that's the thing. It's like, because that's the point. It's like, if Joseph were here this week still, I think that he probably would have just like had a better dance, because I feel like he was a little bit further along, you know. And I think it's like, you want to have people have like a positive experience with it and like feel like they've at least like gotten that moment. I mean, this is what we were talking about at the beginning with like Teresa and Cheryl and Sam, and you know, some of those people that were like, didn't obviously maybe not wouldn't have been like people's favorites to win, but it's like, you want them to at least have a positive experience and like learn and accomplish something. Not that I mean, like, I don't know, he did fine. I thought it was really good. Like, I enjoyed it, generally speaking, but like, I know technically.
No, exactly. Well, going back to last week, like we were talking about, because I was saying there were 2 or 3 people with there were 2 or 3 people technically that I thought could have gone home before Joseph. And Vinny and Vinny and Jesse were 2 of those 3. I felt like Joseph was technically better than them 2, but again, it's not like any lack of effort from Vinny. It's like his lack of effort, especially dancing wise, you can like, it's pretty obvious. Like, you can kind of tell they're standing there and I don't really care. You can see, like I had said, he's giving 110% in rehearsal and during the show. And so I think that's why it makes me even sadder for him that like the comments, like I said, from some of the fan base and from some of the judges is so like hard for me to see, just because of like, just to see how hard he's working and still getting knocked down for it. And I just like, like you had said, I really hope it probably would make sense just in terms of technicality wise and technique wise. He like, it would probably make sense that he ends up going home, and not that we want him to. Again, it's just that's how the show works. But in terms of pure dance like ability and technicality, like you said, he probably will end up going home sometime in the next week or 2. But I'm really hoping he can go out on whenever he ends up going home. He can go out with a high note, out on a high note, because like I had said before, he really takes these comments to heart, and I just really hope he can be like, you know what, I like, I'm so proud of myself, because he really deserves it because of how much he's been trying. I'm really happy and proud of him. And he had some amazing routines. Oh, he did. I know.
All right, we'll keep going on that if we want. So I know you had a few other
this whole thing.
I know you had a few other comments about the episode in general.
So I thought it was a really creative and fun theme. I thought it was fun. I like when they said Michael Bublé, like, that's pretty cool. And I was like, obviously I've been a fan of his music for a while, so I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's like a pretty like unique theme. It's like a pretty like I don't like random, and it's a pretty random theme. It's pretty cool. And I thought the opening number with him singing and the female pros dancing was awesome. I thought it was so good. And then it was cool because, fun fact, Jenna choreographed it, so that was awesome to see. And the choreography for that was awesome to see. And I was like, man, you go, girl! You're being pregnant and you still are choreographing that. That's so awesome. So I like props to Jenna. She did an amazing job with that opening number. It was so awesome.
Great job.
She did an amazing job, and it was awesome to see. Like you said, him guest judging, and it answered my question, because I was like, last week they're like, oh, he's gonna be performing and singing. And I was like, how is this going to work? Is he going to like sing half the time and then judge half the time? I'm like, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Then it made sense to where like the band sings the songs and then he does two performances that are not with the competition and then judges. And like you had said, you could tell he was just like a kid in a candy store, like judging up there. He was just so happy. So exactly, I know. So I definitely hope he comes back, because it was really fun to watch him judge, and you could tell how just happy he was to be there. And the last note I had on it. What'd you say?
Maybe he'll be a contestant.
Oh, exactly. That would be great. I think he'd be awesome. I'd love to see him do that. So I think that'd be great. And then I have one more thing, and before I mean, if you have anything that you want to add, but
oh no, I agree with that. It was probably about Derek's that whole thing that he choreographed.
That's my last thing. And so if anybody doesn't know, Derek and Michael have worked together on a few projects, and he was like, oh, since he's going to be here for this episode, I kind of want to come up with an idea for like this performance where he can sing. And then I have this like kind of like whole routine, like kind of like staging story thing performance, overall huge production performance that he can sing and perform. And we have all this stuff going around him while he's performing. And so they kind of showed like the like history of them working together, and like what went on during like all the rehearsals, or what went on during the rehearsals for that and stuff. And so Derek choreographed it, and Haley, I was about to say girlfriend, but officially as of a few months, his now fiance, Haley, which was awesome to see her, because she's not on the show much, so it was awesome to see her. And so he choreographed it, and then he and Haley were in it, all the pros, all the troupe, all of them were in it and danced. And I just wrote, it was so fantastic. It was probably one of the best things I had seen that wasn't like a competition thing on the show, maybe just even in general. It really told a story, and I said the whole concept was fantastic, and the camera blocking they did for it was so good. And this is kind of just like me, like future director talking, like I just kind of see those things like I had mentioned before, but I was just noticing how good it was, because like they had all these things where they had these like low shots of the pros, and then they had like a shot of Michael like looking kind of straight and not at the camera, but then the pros were dancing around him. It was so cool. And then they had the overhead shots and stuff. So it was great, and I thought it was so awesome. And I wrote a little note, and I was like, they danced to the song Higher, which is like his biggest song right now. And it was really funny because actually Elena had that as a song that we danced to in the summer for one of the group classes. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, that reminds me. I don't think you were there.
Oh.
But I thought it was it was international. I think it was for International Latin, like the International Latin class we did in July. That ended up turning into the choreography class, but we ended up doing that as like a fun little routine, and we did that song because it was new. So I was like, it just kind of brought me back, and I was like, that's really funny. We did that song during group class. But I absolutely love that song. It was funny because they did this thing, I saw it on Instagram. It was like a sponsored thing, and it was like Michael Bublé Higher Dance Challenge, and it was like dance to this song and like make a video of it, and you could win something or whatever. And I was like, oh, this would be fun. Like maybe I could do this. But then when I saw it, it was like 2 days before the deadline, so I was like, I don't have enough time. But I'm not really, again, there's really no words to say how great it was. I was so happy with it, and I just loved seeing it. The performance was fantastic. Everything about it was fantastic. That's all I can say. It was just fantastic, and it was so good. I don't know what your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think some of it they did not film live. Like it was going back and forth. It was very confusing. But I mean, it looked great. I don't know what it looked like being like a live audience member for parts of it, because it looked like maybe, I don't know.
I think maybe either way, they like maybe went around the stage, because like they had the whole. That's what they said. We have to clear the skybox because they were doing that. So I think they were in different locations, and they just had cameras there like filming it.
it's weird though, because it was like, wait, but it was the same people, and I don't know.
I know,
really
it was so
confused,
crazy.
but that's why I was like, I don't know what's going on. But either way, no, I mean, it was amazing. They had the thing with the cello. They
That was so good. Yeah.
that on the story. They're like, what do you think we're going to use this as a prop for?
I
No,
know.
I mean, Derek's amazing. Like,
He's so
the
good.
whole concept. Yeah, I mean, they're all so talented. So it's just cool to, like, we all spend the time like critiquing and like watching the journey of the celebrities and whatever. And it's just nice to sometimes just like watch them with their own creative process. And
Yeah,
this show has also given them the opportunity to do that.
exactly.
So yeah.
It was awesome
I
to see.
think
It was so good.
Yeah. And the next week is Halloween week.
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be awesome to see.
So shall we move on to the beach?
Yes, let's go to from the ballrooms to the beach. That's going to become our new saying.
Yes. Like, slowly make sure I change my background accordingly.
And there we go.
And I'm like wearing a sweater while we're on the beach. Okay.
Beach, exactly. On the beach
right,
in the middle of October.
That's the only thing with the timing of the airing of it this time. It's so like,
No, it's so weird because I'm like, it's paradise.
We're closer to Thanksgiving.
Going to Thanksgiving. Exactly.
Oh,
I guess it was because they did the Bachelorette thing, obviously a little bit later. But
yeah. So, okay. So we start episode 8, and we are starting with Lace and Rodney's conversation.
Yep.
I think he owned up to it as best as he could. I felt bad for Lace.
Yeah.
Entirely. And I figure like it just makes you wonder what would have happened if the ladies had stayed on the beach and Eliza came.
Oh yeah.
All of the guys did come down to hug Lace before she left. And I think, what Eliza said like after about Rodney, I thought was nice. Just how she felt good about how he handled things with Lace was comforting to her, to just know that he handled it in that way, just like because she knows like if he can be kind, like a tough situation, this is also good for me to see, because it's like anything down the line, it's all that. And then Lace did tell the guys that the girls got new guys at the estates, and the guys start freaking out, and I'm like, sorry, not sorry. I think that was the best part of Lace coming.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts on the whole Lace and Rodney thing?
Exactly. It was really interesting because, like, obviously when episode 8 starts, it's this continuous split week and everything. And I love how, I don't know who said it, but it was really funny that someone said, maybe she'll burn down. It was for Shanae and Lace. They were like, oh, maybe they'll burn down paradise. I thought that was a funny analogy. I was like just picturing it. And then, like you had said with Rodney and Eliza, they come back from the date and everything like that. And it was interesting to see that they actually kind of started the episode with that, but that's what we saw most of the day from episode 7, so that made sense. And I was really happy that that Lace, like, that Rodney wanted to be, Lace said she wanted him to be on the same page. So I agree about that, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm really happy to see that they're on the same page. Or they wanted to be on the same page. And I thought it was really funny. Again, I don't know who said it, but it was really funny that they like said Lacifer. I thought that was really funny.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's really clever. But I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I think it was good that that Rodney was just upfront about it rather than just leading her on, because obviously that wouldn't have gone well. And like, obviously it's not the best situation because Lace was really wanting to be with Rodney, and I think she was kind of going all in with that. But I agreed that if Rodney was feeling Eliza and that they felt like that was a stronger connection he had, I'd rather him be honest about it than rather be like, oh, let me kind of go 50-50 with both of them and then kind of like lead them both on. Like I'm happy that he did that. And again, I appreciate his honesty for sure. And I said, I love how they're all watching. I thought that was really funny when like the whole beach was like, they were up in like the little thing and they were like, all like, what's going on down there? And then that was really funny. And then I said that the conversation ended pretty quick, which it did. And obviously he wants Eliza. And then Lace ends up going home, as you know.
So then it's like, I mean, I thought, so that was the beginning of the episode. And
I don't feel like, I just don't feel like Rodney obviously, and I think this kind of showed him his honesty. I don't think he wasn't going out to try to hurt her. I don't think that like he didn't have
No,
he was like, I'm gonna go out here and be mean or like hurt her or whatever.
no,
I just think he was just trying to be respectful to her to say, hey, I'm being upfront with this. I think that was probably the most
yeah,
respectful thing.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the guys start reacting to the whole thing of like finding out that there were guys that came to the States. Brandon is the only one that does not need to be concerned, and he seems to be the most concerned. And I was like, hombre, you don't need to panic.
You don't need to
about
worry,
this
buddy.
at all.
Exactly.
But Jill was like reading in her journal entry of like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the beach, blah 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 blah. This whole thing. So they're like starting to get ready to like bring them back to the beach. So Jesse walks back to go tell the girls, like, or start to talk to the girls, and he trips walking in the door. And I was like, this is really just, well, they're probably like, that's karma.
I know.
And then Genevieve, there was like, I guess there was an interview with her. She was like aggressively cracking her knuckles. I made a note of that. Yeah. And then I talked about the whole part. So like Jesse goes to break. Oh, they talk about like, what guys are you interested in the whole thing? And they're like, well, Rick and Olu, they didn't really connect with. So Jesse immediately is like, okay, well, I'm gonna go break the news to Rick and Olu.
Yeah.
I'm like, give the poor guys a chance and let them talk to the new girls at the beach, because they did the same thing to the girls at the beach.
I know.
And only did it to the guys.
Right.
And it's like,
that's so, yeah, I know. That's really mean.
Listen, I mean, I only met Rick for a matter of 10 seconds to get a photo at the Bachelor Live on stage. Seems like a nice guy, attractive looking guy, like obviously didn't get to talk to him that much, but it's just like this poor guy.
He was like, give me 1 second.
We'll
talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, Olu, apparently Brandon posted something on a story about Olu and then like deleted it. So there's definitely some tea. It's probably gonna eventually come out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the whole deal is. We'll see what happens. I don't want to even say anything.
Yeah.
But apparently Brandon was not a fan of Olu because of something that happened.
Yeah.
Of course, he is probably one of the most local people to us.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. So did you have anything about any of that?
No, yeah, I had a few things. I agree with everything you said. It was really funny that it was interesting that like when we went back to the resort, it was funny to see that like Rick went to go talk to Serene and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said she's all in on Brandon, obviously no surprise. And then Brandon, they come back to Brandon and Rodney talking. And like you said, Brandon was probably like one of the most like freaked out guys. And you're like, bro, you don't have to worry, dude. It's like, you're all good. And he was saying it was confused and it had been hard on him, which is understandable, but it's like you had no reason to be worried. And I thought it was funny that they kind of like casually kept like cutting back to Danielle and Michael just like talking, because obviously they didn't take part in the split week, but it was just funny, kind of like giving some commentary. And then I like you said, the journal was so funny. I somehow she like said it with a straight face too, and then she like, closed the journal and then she like did something. It was just like so hilarious. And they were just sitting there and obviously not having that good of a time at the hotel or resort. And I wrote, here comes Jesse, and then he was like, I come in peace. And I thought that was really funny. Who say that, and then they said that they didn't like the resort at all, and then Jesse had told him about the late situation, and obviously they all like freak out about that, and they get all in their head. And then Victoria said that she wasn't open, it hadn't been as open as she wanted to, and wanted to get to know Alex a little bit better. Going back to and I think they had, like you said, Tyler, Alex, and Adam were the guys that they said, oh, these are what the connections we feel. But with Olu and Rick, I just felt so bad, because like you had said, Jesse was like, hang on 1 second, I'm gonna go break the news. And he just like Tyler, Alex, and Adam, the girls are interested in you, and like basically is what he said, and like they have the connections, like want to get to know you better. Rick and Olu, sorry, you got to go home. Like
it felt very Hunger Games-ish.
No, it did. I know.
This whole thing just really is seeming very Hunger Games like this season, and it's like partially funny because that's such an over dramatization, but it's like, give the guys a chance, let them go to the beach.
No, let them go to the beach, because they didn't do that to the girls, like you said.
Yeah.
I just find it really funny that like Jesse's so serious about, and obviously Bachelor franchise host, you're gonna have the kind of like kind of niches and the stereotypical kind of phrases that you're gonna have when you're hosting the show and stuff like that. But I just love how he's like, Rick and Olu, sorry, you like you guys gotta go home. The whole like there was no connection with you, since you guys don't have a connection, you got to leave paradise immediately, goodbye fellas. And he just leaves. And I think that's so funny.
It's so ridiculous. I don't know.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh.
And then I said one more thing about this whole situation. Like, this is the first time I've seen the contestants be so vocal, especially the girls, about the host. Because every time Jesse walks in, then they're like, "Oh no!" It's just like I just find it so funny how they like react to him now.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's
especially after, I mean, it's like, they were a little frustrated from the last time.
Yeah.
So what did I have? So there was a whole thing. Victoria was talking to Shanae about like saying she doesn't see Logan flipping. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, you didn't see Gabby and Rachel's season, clearly.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then cut to, now Kate's interested in Logan.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And wait, Kate said to Logan, "Oh, you were on my list of people to leave or to meet." And I'm like reading my notes and combining the words. How is Logan on Kate's list? The season did not air before they left for Paradise.
Yeah.
So she knew enough from the cast announcement that she wanted to meet Logan. How is he not connecting these dots?
Yeah, I know. That's so weird.
And so I'm like, unless she heard about him through the grapevine, maybe that's also a thing. Who knows? So that could also be a reason. And then Johnny starts explaining Geometry Beach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they had the whole graphic thing.
Yeah, and then Kate says this is so tough to navigate, and I'm over here like, girl, no one feels bad for you. Then it was awkward with the three of them sitting there, like Jacob and Logan and her.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing was a slap in the face to Jacob. Kate gets the date card. She talks to Jacob first. Jacob's like, I'm gonna let you go first. Good idea, Jacob. Good idea.
Yeah,
that seems to be, now that I'm reading that, he's the same thing to Jill.
Right.
I just connected that in the next episode. And then like, I'm just thinking, are Jacob and Logan the new Aaron and James, in the sense of like they were saying like, oh, my best friend here, and then Logan says yes to the date card. Danielle was like this, Sarah was like this, and I think she actually tweeted that like, watching it back, she realized how much more of a slap in the face it felt to her.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do feel bad for Sarah too. And then like Logan was gonna go talk to her, and the guys were kind of like, Logan should have talked to Sarah first before he said yes. Exactly. And yeah, that was the whole end of that immediate portion. So I don't know. I don't really love Kate.
No, I don't mean either. But
I mean, it's kind of the guys are all getting their karma right now, partially. I mean, Logan's not going to get it at first, but whatever. But like, I don't know. Like, Logan should have talked to Sarah before. I'm sorry. I agree with that.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything else on that, or?
No. I had a few things. I completely pretty much just all you said. The whole thing with like Serene and Tyler. Remember they were talking, but then she said she misses Logan, and then it goes back to the whole thing with Logan. Mm-hmm. And Sarah likes Logan, like we see. Yeah. And then Logan said he wanted to see it out with Kate, but then I think that's kind of unfair to Sarah. It's just like this whole thing. He should have talked to her, like you had said. Yeah. And then Kate and Sarah are good friends, apparently. It's just like, but it's like whatever. And then I thought, like you said, the whole thing with the Geometry Beach thing, I love how the editors went out of the way to make an actual graph. I thought that was really funny. And then I feel like the whole Jacob, Jill, like Kate situation was just so weird, just because it was just like everything's like going back and forth, and then Jacob says one thing and then he tells like Jill another thing. It's just like so strange. And then Jill has like an opinion, what she thinks happening on the beach, but then it's obviously completely different. That's what they've been doing a lot on this season. Where
well, Jill's still at the resort.
Jill's still at the resort, yeah,
like she doesn't know what's going on.
She doesn't know it's coming, and like they've been doing that so much this season. I guess it makes for funner TV, I guess. And then of course with the whole date card thing, and then Kate gets it, and like no surprise. But it's interesting that she like pulled Jacob aside before and said that she had a stronger connection with Logan. But like you said, and it's nice to see that he's supportive about it, but
Mhm.
Kate is not really. I don't know. There's something off with her.
Yeah, well, we'll go down that road. Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna come back up. So I think that's a thing. I think for that particular situation, I was like, whatever. I think it was fair that she talked to Jacob. I had more opinions on Kate. We'll get back to it. Then they show the whole clip of Shanae and Genevieve at the bar with the
Oh, I
tequila
know.
shots. I'm assuming it's tequila shots. Oh my gosh. I guess they're best friends now. They're the female version of Aaron and James now at this rate.
Yes.
So Sarah then, Sarah was like, I don't know, maybe I need to talk to Jacob. And then they keep showing him doing the meditation exercises, which they keep doing for all the rest of the episodes.
Exactly.
Andrew is just like, Andrew's like, this is really the saddest I've seen Jacob.
I know.
Andrew is like taking care of everybody. I don't see Sarah and Jacob together. I mean, obviously they're like trauma bonding over the situation, but like I don't see them together.
Either.
And then then Logan and Kate go on the date. She was giving him a massage. I guess she works as a massage therapist. The funny thing was that she made a joke about the gratuity, and he said something about crypto, and that was funny.
That's funny, yeah.
When he puts the scrub on her back, he just dropped like a wad of it. And I was like, that's a little bit too much, Logan.
No, I know, dude. Exactly.
Yeah. What did you have to say about
that whole
portion?
Yeah. I thought it was funny that all the guys were telling Logan, it's like, oh my gosh, you've gone on so many one-on-ones, which is true. But I thought that was
so
funny.
Was Shanae.
Yeah, exactly. So was Shanae. And then I felt bad about like the whole thing, like when he went to go talk to Sarah and stuff like that. You could just tell she was not really having it. Like, I guess like it's understandable, but I just felt really bad about that. He had said he really enjoyed their date, and obviously he said it still meant something to them, but the connection with Kate was not expected, but was stronger. It was so awkward to watch because she was just kind of a stone face, and she's like, okay, and then walked away. But and then like you said, I said same thing you said. I said Genevieve and Shanae are like best friends now, I guess. Like you had said, like, wait, no, who would have expected that? And I said, they said they love each other now. And I said, I think it'd be safe to assume they've had a little bit to drink. And so that was funny to watch. And then the Danielle and Sarah are talking about, they were talking and everything like that. And just to kind of, Danielle was trying to comfort her and saying like, you made the right decision to kind of walk away, which I agree about. And then I said Jacob is doing his meditation like you had said, and that was funny to see. Especially showing it all the time now. Like they just cut like shots of him laying down and stuff like that, doing stuff. And
good for him. But it's just like they're trying to make him look wacko. And I'm like, no, I mean, this is good. Like, what else are you gonna do when you're there all these hours?
Exactly. It's like, exactly. And then I said that they had like that little spa / like massage date, whatever. And that was cool. And I thought the crypto comment was funny. And that's pretty much all I had on the situation.
I do feel like Logan and Kate have a good relationship, like a stronger relationship. But like I said that about Kate and Jacob. Well, I felt better about it, but then when I saw the previews, then that are at the end of the next episode, it looks like Kate goes on another date. So that's gonna be a whole other thing. We'll get back to that too. But I don't know.
I don't know either. Exactly. It's so like everything's so weird with this season. There's so much is happening. I thought it was funny because this is like moving on. I thought it was funny that Kate was like saying like here's to, when she was toasting, here's to me shooting my shot with Logan. I thought that was kind of funny where she just made like, he was like, that's a good toast. So that was funny. Logan, obviously Logan and Kate were being really like, they were making it known they wanted to be together. That their connection was good. And then they kind of cut to Johnny saying that he's set on Victoria. And of course they go back and talk about, and of course they come back to the resort, and then Alex and Victoria talk and said she dated him and that he like kind of, which I know we'll get to this more in the episode, but I definitely felt why I know it's more in the second episode, but her talking about how Alex kind of like checked all these boxes in the requirement thing, like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way too. That, like I always kind of get a little like, I'm a little iffy about people saying that to me. if they're like, or like people saying it in general, it's like, oh, they checked all these boxes for me and I have to have these. So that
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
I was just gonna say, so we forgot about how they prayed to baby Jesus and it started raining.
oh yes.
They were saying they don't pray to adult Jesus, you pray to baby Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing I was gonna say about, I forgot, of like my notes were just like on a run on. So like Kate and Logan, I was like, I see them together, but I feel like I keep saying this. Can they just like stay together now so the rest of Geometry Beach sorts itself out? But clearly it won't. But yeah, they had the thing with Victoria and Alex. So like he rubbed her head when she was like resting, and then they were talking, and I don't like the whole checklist thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think it's more of an issue of how she handled it with Johnny. I felt like her justification, she's out of the beach, she's at the resort, she's sitting and thinking through things, she gave herself some time to digest things, and I think she was trying to be like, I want to make sure that I'm in a relationship that lasts out of paradise. So I think she's trying to be realistic with herself of like, I don't really know Johnny's whole like work life situation. I don't even know Alex's, honestly, but like in her perception, she's like, I want to make sure somebody's like, they're old enough, they're mature enough, they like have a career, all this, they're ready to be in a relationship, have kids, like get married, all this thing. And like I can understand that thought process. And of course, the second the producers get wind that she's more interested in him, they give her the date card.
Yep, of course.
You know, but I think that's the thing. It's the bigger issue is how the whole conversation went down with Johnny, but we can get into them more when we go over the next episode. But like, so they go on the date card. He carries her off. They go on the date, and she's like, he reminded her of all her ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
She's like nervous at first, and then they keep going back and forth, cutting to like Johnny talking about taking it all seriously. And I'm like, but we just saw him not feeling ready with Gabby.
Right.
So that was also a thing. And it was storming outside because they prayed to baby Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Did you have anything else about like Victoria and Alex's date?
Yeah, it's pretty much all you said. I completely agree with, and that's like what I had. I had said that I thought, I remember obviously Victoria was saying that she felt like she hadn't been open to kind of like seeing things through with people or like having new opportunities and stuff. So I think that's cool that she was exploring that. And Victoria, like you had said, she wanted to find her person there and not just kind of have some like not much of a, she didn't want to have as like anything that was kind of like half with somebody or whatever. And she wanted to be committed and not just like that it wasn't committed or anything like that. And I felt like Alex, I think just from the conversation we saw, I think Alex is very mature, and I think that's really cool to see.
Okay. So go ahead and finish anything you wanted to say about Victoria and Alex's date.
Oh, Alex's date. Okay, yeah, cool. So like I was saying, I agree that it was cool to see that she was open to finding new, like have those new possibilities and stuff like that. And that she wanted to be a little bit more open-minded, because obviously I think when she arrived to the resort, she was more like, I'm just going to be there for Johnny. That's pretty much it. And then but like you had talked about on Gabby Rachel's season, you could tell he was still kind of like, he didn't know where he would like wanted to be after the show in terms of the relationship. He was kind of unsure long-term. And like, I know we'll talk about it more in detail, like when they reunite on the beach in the second episode, but just like a little preview of that, from what we've seen in their conversations, it seems like they're pretty different people in terms of what they want. And so I think if Alex has that, like if she has a good connection with Alex and she is curious about that, I feel like she should be able to explore that, especially if she feels like that connection is going to be stronger and he has more things that she's looking for. And I think that's the opportunity she should be granted. I think she should get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that Alex was saying that his parents' relationship was a real big inspiration to him, and saying like they had been married for a long time and stuff like that. So he wanted to have a relationship like that and everything along those lines. And I felt bad for Victoria because she had said she didn't want to hurt Johnny, but she was very confused. But that's all I had on their date. But I thought the date was good.
Yeah, I think we'll get more into that in a little bit too. So then the end of the first episode of the week. So Brittany pulled Tyler aside to talk to him. They both say they want to have a conversation with the other person that they like connected with before they pursue things further. So like obviously Tyler wants to talk to Shanae, Brittany wants to talk to Andrew, and then they kiss that point. So Shanae, and I don't know if this was, I think this was like after her and Genevieve were drinking. So like, I think this is an after effect of that. But
Yeah.
Shanae was kind of annoyed with both of them because she felt like everyone just like disappeared and she started like freaking out. And then Genevieve seemed to be even freaking out more. And nothing really seemed to come to pass with that aside from they were just like talking in the room.
Mhm.
And then yeah, and then I don't know. The other thing too that I just like, because they were talking to Adam at the one point, and I'm like, obviously not Serene, but I'm like, why are these girls not going after Adam?
I know.
I don't understand. Like the
I
man was
know.
basically like Thor's body double, and I think actually he was, because I was reading about this. Apparently he was in the new Thor movie, which I'm very far behind on those, but he's apparently in it.
Oh yeah, I heard
So I'm
that.
like,
Yeah.
why? I mean, at least they were like interested enough in him to like keep him. So
Exactly.
I'm like, you don't know what's gonna happen now, like when they go back to the beach, and I'm like, give
Right.
this man a love story,
Exactly.
not just putting mayo and mustard on his eggs.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. I saw that.
and then I'm just like over here, like Shanae's gonna like if she's freaking out about like
This.
Brittany
Yeah.
and Tyler, she's gonna lose her mind when she gets back to the beach, as we
That's such a
see. But
moment.
like, yeah, that was a whole other story. And then the clip of the end of the episode with the guys in the pool, and I'm like, they got so much footage of these guys goofing off in the pool.
Yep.
It was just hilarious.
It was
Like,
so funny.
oh my gosh. All right,
Um,
did you have anything else for episode 1? And then
I had a
we'll
few
go
more
into-
things just relating to the things you said.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that when like Jill and Shanae were like kind of like fighting,
Mhm.
and they were talking about like Brittany and Tyler, and then
Yeah.
they went to go and then not Genevieve, Jill went to go like spy on Brittany and Tyler, and she like went to go look at the door, and she was like, oh no, and then she walked over, and then she was like, that's not gonna be good. And then they showed Logan talking about being confident. Shanae said she was talking about being confident in Logan and stuff like that, and obviously they show that he's hanging out with Kate again and stuff like that, and it's just like, well, like, and the foreshadowing is just like on point this season with all that. It's like, well, like, hold on 1 second. But and I love how when Shanae was talking to when Shanae was this wasn't, why do I have this on that with Logan? Oh yeah. I love how like when Shanae was talking about Logan, they were like showing Kate and Logan making it on the beach. Again, always doing that stuff, of course. And then like I had said, you had said the episode ended, and then the women go back to the beach in the preview and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like you had said with the guys in the pool, they've gotten so much footage of the guys in the pool, like you had said this season, to where I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a few hours of footage of them in the pool. It's like they got that synchronization down. It was like awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So then naturally the next episode begins with the guys swimming in the pool again. And then Jesse comes to talk to the girls at the estate before they go back to the beach. And then they have a part, and like Kate keeps going like, it's gonna be hectic. And I'm like, well, yeah, most of it is because of you. When the girls come back. Okay?
Exactly.
So like, I mean, she obviously is not to blame for like the actual things that happen, but she has disturbed the peace with her actions. Okay. And like, even if her and Logan end up together, it's all fine and dandy. Her actions have still been a major point of why it's going to be hectic. And also, why didn't Jesse come out and make the guys vote some of the girls off the beach like they kicked out Rick and Olu? Sorry, I don't know. Because like I think Florence is the girl's name that's from Australia also, and I'm like, I don't see anybody talking to her. Like,
no, I know, me neither. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if her and Adam have any history. I'd be interested. Maybe in the next episode we'll finally find out, because like, give these people some airtime.
Exactly.
And then the girls just like show up. So I didn't realize it was only Genevieve, Jill, and Shanae showed up at the beach, and it's like, did they not warn them? And Florence was just like, they came in smelling blood. Like the videos kind of look like that, but they literally came in and they're like, what's going on? Where is everybody?
Really funny.
Anyway, so did you have anything on that?
That was really funny. I thought it was funny that they showed them having a good time on the beach and everything like that. And then they showed them Jasenia and Andrew, like I guess they've been talking and stuff like that. And then Kate and Logan, like you had said, like we said for the first episode, And when the girls were talking at the resort and saying just how like they were just ready to get back, that was
Yeah.
like interesting to watch this space, like because they did not seem like they were having a good time there the whole week or how many weeks they were there.
Yeah.
I think Jesse said it was 2, but I could be wrong. But it was just really crazy. And then it makes sense that the split week was hard for them because obviously most of them had connections at the beach. And then Jesse, like you said, comes in, and I thought it was interesting that, but it also makes sense that Genevieve had said that she'd leave if Aaron went on a date.
Yeah.
Because they seemed really close, so that made sense for sure. And then I love how Jesse had to say, "I gotta warn you, it's a very different beach than when you left." I just like he has to do that, but
I mean, he's not wrong.
he's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong.
But he always has to be the kind of like the bearer of the drama every conversation.
Yeah.
And then Kate and Eliza were talking about how they were nervous that the original girls were going to come back. And then like you said, the girls come back, and it was just funny, like you said, how Florence was like, "Oh, they're out for blood" and stuff like that. And that was so funny. She was like commentating the whole thing, and I love how they like had these shots of like the girls coming in and then all the people looking, and then had like this like dramatic music around it, so it like made it kind of like a movie.
Yeah.
Like that. It was really funny. So yeah, that's all I had on that situation.
So the first couple that like regroups here is Genevieve and Aaron.
Yeah.
He takes forever to tell her that it's all good. I'm like, dude, just tell her you didn't go on a date.
She was not. She was waiting.
Like beating around the bush. I mean, even Andrew was freaking out, and they were talking at one point, and he was like, "No, Aaron was teaching me how to swim all day."
I know.
Like, because apparently, Andrew, I just shared it on the Instagram before we started recording, but I think Andrew was just like, yeah, he was like, he trained as a swimmer, so Andrew's like, I wanted to learn some new tricks. So, yeah, I mean, Aaron and Genevieve's reunion looked good aside from the fact that he took forever to tell her.
Yeah, it was really sweet. No, I thought it was really sweet. And it was nice. I thought that because she was saying, like in the package or in her ITM right before she came back onto the beach, she was like, if he doesn't hug me or anything like that, I'll kind of know that like something happened or he seems a little bit off. But I could tell that they seemed kind of like they like went back to where they started right before they left each other. So I thought that was a good sign, and I felt bad because Genevieve was like already like getting emotional like when she was talking to him, but that also showed how much she cared about him, which I think was really sweet. And I thought, like you said, the only thing that was not the best about that is that he kept kind of beating around the bush, because you could see how like just relieved she was emotionally that he didn't date anybody or have any connections or whatever. And I'm happy that they're committed to each other, because I feel like they're a cute couple, and I was happy to see her happy. And so that was good. I did agree with that. I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, the previews later, I don't know, but at this moment in time, it was all good. Okay, the Sinead time.
Sinead time. Yep.
So I don't even want to call it that. I mean, I
thought that was really funny that you said
I would have been a Camille Nato. Somebody, I think they said it, and I'm like, you know what? I would have been a Camille Nato, honestly. So Logan and Sinead go talk. Okay, I don't. They started talking, and Sinead's like, I don't know, they're talking and they're trying to talk about this thing, and it seems like it's going fine. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe I spaced out for a second, but all of a sudden I hear Logan talking about the like, well, you know, you really hurt me because you were with James, and you know, and then you're saying about how you're juggling these guys and blah 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 blah. And I remembered how there was a clip from like the previous episode where Andrew's like, yeah, like she's saying she's juggling the guys, like, and I don't like that, and blah blah blah. And it was Andrew's opinion.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And the thing that I'm thinking is like, look, going back a week or two, I can understand Logan feeling that way. I can understand him being bothered by that.
Yeah.
But for him to bring this up after a week of them being apart, he has formed a stronger connection with Kate. For him to go back and bring this up as a way to maybe justify why he has a stronger connection with Kate, it's like, what are you doing? That is so unbelievably immature in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, it clearly didn't hurt you enough to not accept the rose from her. And to be like, oh, well, I need to put the thing with the rose the wine bottle and the thing and the bracelet and the whatever. Were you hurt then that you didn't even bother trying to do that? And you accepted the rose. So now it's a problem, and you're bringing this up to her.
Yeah.
So you're just adding salt in the wound. Like, you're already breaking up with her. Just leave it at that. Why do you need to rub salt in the wound?
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand. So, like, this is the thing. So hold on, I had a big paragraph. And then he's like, "Can I hug you?" And she said no. I 100% agree with her. I personally feel like she's irritated because she's upset because he's breaking up with her. She's irritated that he brought it up. And on top of that, now she knows that Tyler and Brittany are connecting. So she doesn't really have anybody at this point in time. So that kind of escalated it. And I don't think he did anything wrong with Kate. That's totally fine. But I do feel bad for Shanae. And the whole point was they all have this picture painted of how Shanae is. So they're all cheering for him kissing Kate. That is so unbelievably rude. They wouldn't have done that to anybody else on the beach.
Exactly.
And they keep saying, "Oh, Shanae's like the old version of her." Like, I'd be angry too. Okay, Michael was like, "Ohio women throw hands." Like, I am a New Jersey woman, and I also would throw hands.
I'll throw hands. Exactly.
Okay, and I think the hardest part, it's sad because then it's like they have all the guys talking about how, like, you know, even Aaron and Aaron's opinion, and I'm like, do you not realize how close Genevieve and Shanae have gotten? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think the whole point is, it's just like they're saying, "Oh, Shanae's just like she was." I'm like, no, you guys didn't hear the conversation that happened. You think that Shanae's just freaking out because Logan's with Kate. No, she's pissed because he brought up this other stuff on top of it. So when she went back to go talk to him, and then Kate was like giving her the whole thing, I literally was like, "Go home, Kate, go home. Like, leave. Like, it's just leave." You know, I think that's what everybody was like. What do you mean textbook Shanae? You were there for like 2 episodes.
I know.
I think, didn't she do something like that? That was the thing on the men.
Yeah. I think so. That does seem familiar.
So it's like, you know what? And I think this, I mean, again, there were things that Shanae said on the season that were just like inexcusable. That, you know, that's a whole other story. But you know what? It gives you a little more insight, because like the difference now is most of these women that are there know Shanae, and they know how she is, and they're friends with her now. Whereas when she was in Clayton's season, she wasn't friends with any of them, and she didn't have any backup. So we never got to see the contrast of the positive and the negative. We only got to see like the more negative side of it. So it's like, this situation, I am completely on her side.
Exactly.
I thought Logan acted immature. Okay. And that's, I don't know. Anyway. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. What is your opinion? The tornado watch is over.
Exactly. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I felt like what Logan did was very immature in terms of the way that he kind of kept us like you said, throwing salt at the wound and stuff like that, and just like really just kind of amping up the like intensity level when it really didn't need to be. I think he started blaming her and kind of insulting her when he really had no reason to. And I was like, well, and I remember he was like talking to, I don't know, he was talking to maybe Andrew or something like that, but he was talking to somebody, and then like they were all talking, and then Shanae was off, like kind of saying how like upset she was and everything like that. And then he was like, and that's the reason why I don't like her. And I was like, well, come on, dude. It's just like, it's like he just started like throwing all these things, and it's just like, I just did not like it. And the same thing with Kate. I just hated how Kate was so it was nice that she was like, I don't want to have any beef with anybody, and I'm willing to talk with her. I'm happy that it wasn't just like, was she, I don't know how like legitimate that is, but it was at least nice to see that. But overall, I hated how she was like really asserting herself into like, oh, well, he's mine now. And then like, and even if that's the case, it seems to be, that's fine. But like, she was really trying to like rub it into with Shanae, and I was just like, oh, come on. And I just didn't like that. And that was just really, like you said, immature to me. And like you said, with rejecting the hug, I would have done the same thing. So I'm like, I'm on her side with the situation. I thought it was really funny. Again, I'm with this thing too. This is like, I completely agree, and I do the same thing. I thought it was really funny how I loved how before the conversation, she was like, I'm so confident that Logan's here for me and everything like that. And then when he breaks up with her and doesn't say he's not nice to her, and again, I completely agree about this, that she like completely changes her opinion on him, just like she did with Clayton on the 2-on-1. I just thought that was like her commentary is really like funny with that, but what she was saying was accurate. I think like I'd be upset too. And I said, and then I put Shanae is upset and crying, and I said hands down producers, because there's no way. And I think the biggest problem I had is that, like you said, Kate and Logan, they were pulled, or Kate pulled Logan back, and then they kissed in front of Shanae. I think that's completely like unnecessary and immature, like you said. And I think that's like 100% or very, very close to 100% producer influence, because it's like, oh hey, like, well, hey, here's Shanae, and then like, oh, you guys are already here, well, you guys can just continue. It's just like they already know that they're gonna have the like shots there, and they're like, well, let's just make it even worse for Shanae. And so it's just like just so bad, and I hated it. But
well, I think it's just also like the relationship that the new girls all had, because like they didn't really meet Shanae, and like anyone that knew Shanae, they only knew her based on her like her behavior from the Bachelor season. But it's like now, at least at this point, like we feel like as an audience we've gotten to know her better than we did previously. And I think that's the thing. It's like, I just, and it's not like I want to dismiss like Logan's feelings of being hurt, because I get it, but it's like you had a time and place that was appropriate to bring that up and to mention it. And I think that's why even the guys probably wouldn't even think that there was anything wrong with what Logan said, because they talked to him at the time and they knew that that's how he felt. But it's just like, it just was not the right time and the right place. And it's like, if you've moved on, you don't need to rub salt in the wound. And I wonder if after any of the guys, specifically the guys, watched the conversation back, they changed their mind on how Shanae handled it.
I've seen so many people, even in the, not even just on Paradise, but I've seen it like on other things, like kind of, for example, going back with Rachel, for the Bachelorette season. She was talking about, I heard her on the podcast saying that like the whole situation with eiiwun, how she like watched it back and said, oh my gosh, like I never even gave him a chance to really speak, and it was just all about her and everything like that. But so going back to your point, I wouldn't be surprised if the guys go back and watch. I think a lot of contestants do on the show, where they're like, oh wow, like they might kind of change their mind on what happened in the moment. And again, this is another director production note, whatever, but it was just so weird that they had like Logan and Shanae talking, and in the background they had Kate, and she was just kind of like smiling there, and I was like, that's so weird. But I was like, I don't know.
It's like too contrived at that point.
I know, exactly. I don't know who said it. I think it might have been Aaron, but I don't know. Like he just said that like maybe we can blast Shanae off into space or something like that. I was like, I don't know why he said that,
he said something like that, and then I don't know what the,
I just remember that. I was like, I don't know why he said that, but it was like, okay. That's all I had on that situation.
Well, it's like, okay, well, you're not gonna last with Genevieve long then, because if that's the case. Gosh. Anyway,
it was crazy.
On to Jill and Jacob's conversation. So again, he did the you go first. Considering how he has handled difficult conversations in the past, previously, like similar, he did very well at handling the conversation. It's sad, but I think like I feel like he at least like addressed the fact that he connected with Kate, and then that clearly didn't work out. Kate went on to Logan. He didn't mention Logan, he just said somebody else. And then he said like, but that was the point, is that he realized that she wasn't the one for him. And I think I think it was good that he said that, because it's like he could have just been like, oh yeah, like, well, I tried it with Kate and it didn't work, and like like I think he at least had enough of that internal realization to know like Jill wasn't his person, and was honest with her. I again, like, I mean, now that it's more like all out there, I think that just hearing like Jacob's and Jill's interviews like individually before all the information came out, like it seems like they're cool with each other, I guess now. Just like they just had to move on. Who knows? Maybe who knows? You never know. We've been shocked before. I mean, like look what happened with Noah and Abigail last season. And they're still together now. So after it's like, you're not my person, and then they break up and now they're back together. So Although
Uh,
I don't think that Jill and Jacob are gonna last. But yeah,
no, I
that's
didn't
all I really
think
had
either.
with that. I don't know. That
No,
was
that's
it.
all.
Yeah.
No, that's all I had about that. And and like I said, I was happy that he had that internal realization, like you said, that
Mhm.
he was able to be like, you know what, I do like Jill, but I don't think she's right
Yes.
for me long term. And like I like that I like the way he handled it. I like how he was honest with her and we didn't like you said, didn't try to beat about in the bush or something like that. Be like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. But I like he was just like flat out honest with her. And I felt bad because I don't know if the next like obviously she left and said she was going to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense because like I think that's the only person she really had a true connection with.
Yeah.
So that made sense. And I thought it was like obviously a sad situation, but I thought it was funny in the car and she was like, I was crying over a Lyft driver.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, was he a Lyft driver? I'm
I
like,
was like, I assume so. Maybe they talked about that off camera. I don't know, maybe.
I guess so. And then I was like, well, because I thought he did like mortgage stuff because that's what they was talking about on Ben and Ashley's podcast. But like
Oh, yeah.
he said what he wants to get into, something like a little different. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to change careers.
But I'd prefer that the guys be honest
Yeah,
though.
whatever. Yeah, no, I mean, I some just wording sometimes he sounds like he's trying to beat around the bush and not be
Yeah.
direct, but like he is being direct. He's just
Yeah.
not great at the wording.
Yeah.
His intentions, the right intentions there, I feel like.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if it's yeah. I
He
don't know
needs
if
to
it's
meditate a little more to get guidance for the words.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even though he has
And
like
I'm not mocking it. I truly mean that statement.
no, exactly. I don't know if it's like obviously he has that like Tarzan outdoorsy persona. And like it seems like he's outgoing, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if in real life he's actually kind of quiet based on what like we kind of get.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's a little bit more internal from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So I would again that might be the reason why maybe it's a little bit hard for him to kind of articulate if he is being direct. But yeah, I'd rather him be honest than rather than be like beat around the bush or not like be honest with Jill. So even though it was sad to see her leave, I think it ended up kind of being the best case scenario for them.
All right, next
I got a
couples.
new guys showing up.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Oh wait.
Do you have anything else? That's all.
Oh no. Well, more. Yeah, more. Well, more of the girls are coming back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Brittany. So Brittany comes back. Her and Andrew break up smoothly.
Oh yeah.
Because it was kind of like, yeah, I talked to Jasenia. Yeah, I was interested in pursuing Tyler. So like, I want to just move forward with that. Like, cool. Okay, move on. Oh, good. Fine. That was like this thing. And then Brandon and Serene are reunited finally. Everybody's like, oh
yeah. I know.
And then did you have anything about either of them before we go into Victoria and Johnny?
So let me see. So I actually that's why I wrote the new guys going down to the beach before. It was just saying that they were planning on going.
Yeah.
Down. But yeah, I was happy.
Oh, that's right. The clip when they were all working out because the guys were all working out. Like, we're gonna go to the beach soon.
We're going to the beach now. Yeah. So I just wrote that down. I was like, oh, they're about to go to the beach. But yeah, with Andrew talking to Brittany, I thought that like you said, that breakup was fine. And I'm glad that they can kind of still remain friends. I don't know if they're friends or friendly after this, but I'm glad that on the show at least they could, I feel like it's good that they could at least be a little bit like still cordial and nice with each other rather than it's like an ugly thing or whatever. They're both really mature for that, and I like that. And then obviously she said she wanted to pursue Tyler, and that's fine. I feel like they have a better connection anyway, in my opinion. And then they mentioned he mentioned the date about Jasenia and Brittany. And I think just them being honest with each other as well, that was good. And I think that's why they can be still friends or friendly with each other, because they were both open and honest with it. And just like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. That's like, I still really respect you and really like you as a person, but here's this is what I'm feeling. So I think that was a good thing. And then that's all I have for that. And so now I have like I said, it was awesome to see Serene and Brandon. That was an awesome moment, and I love how everybody was like, "Yay!" when they came back together. That was awesome to see. And it was, and then like you said, Johnny and Victoria hugged, kind of in the same kind of area, and that's what I have next is them talking.
Yeah. Okay, so then Victoria and Johnny go for this conversation. It was a mess.
Oh gosh.
I think this is like what I was talking about earlier. Like, I think her thought process is valid in that for herself, she has to think through what's realistic, but her bringing up the whole checklist thing, it's just annoying.
Exactly.
You know, like I understand her point, but it's just hard. It's just a very awkward situation. And I think, I mean, it keeps playing out throughout the rest of the like night/episode.
Mhm.
Andrew and the guys come in and he keeps singing "It's Pants Night." I don't know. I guess they're
Right.
wearing pants, so
I
it's
know.
pants night, and he's singing. And then Brandon goes to Serene. So where do you want to sit to avoid the drama?
Yep.
And then that's where. So then the guys finally join, and this is where it starts to escalate. The whole Johnny Victoria thing. That's kind of like, I don't know. The Johnny Victoria thing basically takes up the rest of the episode, plus a
Yeah.
few other things. Alex immediately goes over to Victoria, and Johnny's like this, like watching, like freaking out. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it's their love triangle is starting.
Mhm.
Okay, let's finish talking about the whole Johnny and Victoria thing. So I don't know, I think it's just like, I do feel like she's better off with Alex, or at least trying to pursue Alex. I just don't think Johnny's the right one for her. I
Mhm.
think Johnny's probably also still just like trying to recuperate after the thing that happened with Gabby, and he's probably frustrated, like, Gabby, I didn't get there with Gabby because Gabby wants the engagement at the end of this.
Yeah.
And then he feels like Victoria's probably pulling the same thing.
Mhm.
In my weird, no, I don't want to call it weird. In my like whole like life scope of things, I
Mhm.
think this is trying to send Johnny a message. Like the universe is trying to send Johnny a message. Like, I'm not saying the man doesn't have it together. I'm just saying that I think he clearly has some, I don't want to say issues either, but like, this is clearly a trigger for him
Yeah.
of the whole like commitment relationship thing
Mhm.
that he probably needs to just work on. You
Mhm.
know, I don't want to say it's bad. That's just my take. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you think on
No,
all
no,
of
I
this?
completely agree, especially because of the fact that, like, with Gabby, I felt like he somewhat wanted to like fight his emotions or be like, I'm not ready for this,
Mm-hmm.
but he still doesn't want to lose her. And I feel like this is the same thing. So
Yeah.
I felt like it was the same thing with Victoria. And she was talking to him about how, and I felt bad for Johnny because he was all in on
Yeah.
Victoria. And like, so he was very committed to her. So I was like, I feel bad for that reason because it was like,
Yes.
at
Yes.
least you could see he was still really committed to her. So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad that he was like, "Oh, I'm all in on her, but she's not all in on me." So it's like that's a little upsetting.
Yeah.
And but she still said she likes him a lot. So it wasn't like she was not saying that she didn't like him or anything. She didn't say that she didn't like him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She just said that she was confused. And I agree with him. I wouldn't want to be anybody's second choice either. And I do agree with
No.
him that I completely agree with
Yeah.
him and feel for him with that. Um, like I said, going back to the whole thing with the list and checklist, I feel like just that wasn't really worded well. It kind of irked me. I don't really like
Mm-hmm.
that checklist or whatever requirements thing. It's
Yeah.
just so weird to me. Um, and then he said he would leave if he wasn't with her, which I also could see. Like I think that's the best decision.
Yeah.
I think it's the best decision because, like you were saying, with Victoria, she was saying, "Oh, you're a little bit younger than me, and I'm ready for an engagement and a marriage and have a family and start a family and stuff like that. Is those things you really want?" And he really couldn't give an answer. He was kind of
Yeah.
like, "I really don't know." And
Yeah.
but then she was saying that Alex was saying he was ready for those things, and if she's curious about him, then it's just like I talked about in the first episode, or during when we talked about when we were talking about the first episode, I really
Mm-hmm.
feel like they're different people in terms of what they want, and
Yeah.
so I feel like it's best if they're not together. But it's just a very ugly situation. I just feel kind of bad for both of them because they're in a hard situation, and
Yeah.
but I feel like that's probably would be for the best, just since I don't think that they really are looking for the same things in the relationship, at least from what I've been seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I think I do feel bad for him because he was intending to stay committed to her throughout that whole
Yeah.
week, the split week. And it's like, I think they're, because when you think about it, it's like, okay, Genevieve didn't talk to anybody, Serene didn't talk to anybody, like in that way.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they talked to them. I mean, Shanae went out with Tyler, but then she circled back to Logan.
Mhm.
Brittany and Andrew was more amicable. Jill and Jacob, like Jill got hurt, Lace got hurt. But
Mhm.
like, this is the only one where like the girl explored something and the guy did not. And
Yeah.
I think that's like, you know, that's where it's like, this is like a shift in the dynamic compared to the rest of the couples.
Mhm.
So I do feel bad for Johnny in that way because it's like I think it probably he was reacting like
he wasn't
And
expecting
he's-
her to.
Yeah, I think he's just it was a lot to take in. It's like, here you are all week thinking she's gonna come back and still be interested in you. And he figured she would have gone on a date and like maybe just been like, you know, at least whatever. But like she kind of came in sounding like she was definite that she was
Gonna go to
interested in
Alex.
pursuing somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel bad for him in that way.
But I agree with you. I think he should just kind of work on himself and see what he wants in life rather than just be like, oh, I'm gonna like maybe try to force myself to be in a relationship or some kind of committed long-term thing if that's not what he's wanting. I don't think it's fair for him.
I think he wants to be with somebody that wants to also be in that place. And I just
and I agree with that. That's totally fine.
And that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think like that's what his point is. Like you want to fall in love with somebody first. Like I think because I think that's the point is like I think sometimes like I feel like it's like if somebody just keeps harping on specifically on getting married and having kids, it's like, are you thinking logically or are you just saying like I just want it because it looks good on paper, or do you actually want it because you want to be in the relationship? And I think it's like, you know, it's hard to say, like I can't say, I'm not in Victoria's head, like is Victoria saying it because that's what she wants, or is Victoria saying it because it's like or like is she still gonna make sure she's putting the love aspect before the before the like actual marriage, kids, whatever. Anyway,
that's all I had on that.
Yeah, I mean that will keep panning out, I think,
exactly.
But
and then I have the Brittany and Tyler talking and saying that they're talking about their conversation and how Brittany went to go talk to Andrew and Tyler went to go talk to Shanae. Everything seemed to work out and that they wanted to pursue each other and they have a good connection. From what I've seen, it seems like they have a good connection and that they're good together. I don't know if they'll last or not. I hope they do. They seem like they're a good match. That's all I had on that. What did you
immediately think? Start making out.
Oh yeah, immediately start making out.
Immediately start making out.
Exactly. No, like
okay. For them.
It's like you had your conversation, you had that conversation. Okay, we're good.
Okay. Good. Okay, good.
We're good. Okay, yeah, exactly.
Then of course they cut to then Jasenia steals Tyler to talk and called him Alex at first, and then it was like, oh god. And then Brittany was just like, go say, Andrew, control your girl, Andrew. And he's like, oh. So they're all like, I don't know, they don't even show that conversation. I don't think they just
that's kind of
talking and that was it. So that's gonna be the beginning of the next episode.
Yes.
I'm not too concerned. I mean, I think Tyler obviously just wants to meet everybody, but I think he really wants to try to work it out with Brittany. I don't think Tyler's gonna at least not for like a day or two. I don't think Tyler's gonna be so easily swayed.
He doesn't seem like he's a guy. He seems like he's a guy that's kind of like all in on somebody. Like we saw with freaking Rachel. Like when we saw with Rachel, how he was so dedicated to her, and then like obviously she was like he was committed to her and not Gabby during the situation. But like you could see how he was like pouring his heart out for her. I don't feel like he's the person that like, oh, if Jasenia comes and is like, oh, do you want to like get to know me or whatever. I don't think he's gonna be like, oh, okay. Like I think he'll be respectful and be like, oh, like you seem like a nice person and all. But I've already like kind of am committed to Brittany and I kind of like to explore that. I feel like that's the kind of mentality he has, just based on my like opinion of him.
Yeah, we got our good Jersey boy.
Our good Jersey boy.
Good Jersey boy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. Aaron was narrating something and I was like, oh yeah.
I don't know.
He's not as good as Casey. Sorry.
No, Casey was the best.
And that was really it. Aside from just the previews, it was like there were so many things. It looks like the girls have the roses again. I thought the guys were up for the roses, so maybe because they figured as I don't know if that's the right word, as like recompense for making them endure this.
Yeah.
They're gonna give the girls the roses again.
Yeah.
And then Shanae, that's why then there's guys coming on the beach. Shanae and Jacob are together again. And then Justin comes back and then apparently he's interested in Eliza, and then Hayden comes, and then the twins come, and then Hayden pulls Kate, and then it's like, here we go, a thing with Logan, and then
there's so many things happening.
Yeah, and then Aaron and Genevieve seem to look like they're going through some trouble, and then we have the end clip talking about Kate's toes, and that's it. Yeah.
We're not gonna spend time on that.
Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I had. But I thought that it was just crazy episodes, but it's been fun to watch, and I'm excited for next week.
It's just nuts. I know. I'm like, I don't know. We've got a few more weeks left, but
exactly.
Okay. All right. I think we can wrap it up then.
I think so,
A
man.
little shorter than last week.
A lot shorter than last week again. Exactly. It was so good not to have two. It was fun to watch two Dancing with the Stars episodes, but man, it was hard. So I'm glad that we only had 3 episodes this week.
It's a little bit easier.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I'm glad the split week's over and they're back together, and then we'll figure everything else. But
Exactly.
okay. So thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the post notification bell, and if you enjoyed it, share it with a friend. Also follow us on Instagram at Ballrooms and Bachelors, and on our personal Instagram accounts, which are linked in the Instagram bio and appear at the end of the episode. Yeah, and I don't think we have any other special announcements right now. Yep, so see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.